Hey everybody, welcome to the 4K Lowdown. It is never a dull moment here backstage. We're sorry we're a little bit late. We've had some video issues, so I hope you can see both of us. My name is David. My partner in crime is
Rich, aka Turnerfan77.
Rich. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing
I'm good.
okay. Jerry's already on. How you doing, Jerry?
Yeah,
Thanks
what's
for
up,
jumping
Jerry?
in. Ba-bam. Jerry's awesome. I love that he jumps on really
Me
quick,
too.
says howdy, sticks with us as long as he can. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we always appreciate Jay.
Uh, all right. So yeah, so it's been it's been fun this evening trying to get everything going, and yeah, we're gonna stick with this visual. So I hope
Yeah,
you guys are okay with that. We usually do a close-up shot, but we're having some video issues. Um, just so this is a better way to see both of us without having some weird camera shots. But aside from that, I've got I've got to upload some pictures, so I'm gonna do that really quick.
so, what are you
I
drinking
have
tonight, man?
I'm drinking tea. I am
Tea?
always a tea person unless I get alcohol. It's usually tea, and I am
I got
tempted to
these
get
two things.
alcohol. So you're double dipping today.
Yeah, I was
You know
last
what?
night in
I
a
think
stream. I was tired.
I think I'm gonna get some alcohol. I think I'm gonna be back.
You do that. So last night we went on Instagram Live like we do every Monday. Um, but last night I was just so tired. It was hard for me to focus. I mean, Nate left the stream and I didn't get to say goodbye because I was trying to be polite, and I was just zoned out. And I'm normally up on Mondays.
All
I'm
right,
usually up at
I
two.
already feel better after bringing those. So I've got the longboard lager. It's a Hawaiian beer.
Oh, nice.
And I rarely am able to find these in the can, so it was really cool. Immediately bought a 12 pack of that. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that.
Nice.
It's a little, it's a little strong, but I like it. I'm still got my tea, but I earned that. All right, so we're gonna do war movies. I,
This is a
I'm
fun one.
I'm really excited about this.
Me too.
We finished our genres. We did all the genres. So now we're doing types of movies.
Mm-hmm.
When we're starting off with war movies because that was the first thing we thought of. We're like, oh, dude, we should do war movies. So
Yeah.
these these can fall under any genre, although as a general rule, they're dramas because they're based in history. And there's the train. This is, it's got their basis in history, so so usually war movies fall under the drama category for me. But they can be action, they can be thriller, they can be comedy, as we actually have one
Yep.
that's a comedy. So um, I thought I do a little bit of variety, but on the same token, I wanted to put in two solids that I want in all these war movies, and one is a good script, and the other is great cinematography. So
Oh,
I think those are a must with a war
yeah.
movie. You got to be able to see all those visuals and that's
Uh,
just an
I picked
awesome.
the picks this week. Cinematography on, I want to say 99% of them was really, really good.
Yeah, I'd say really. I think there was only one for me and it was one of my picks that the
It's probably the
cinematography.
same one I'm
I,
thinking
I
of.
I don't know. Maybe it might be. We'll get there, but I still thought it's a fabulous movie, but it's not the war scene that's the important part.
Mm-hmm.
So that they didn't spend a whole lot of time on the actual war of it
Right.
all. Um, so I don't know if we got the same one in mind because
and
I know there was one that you didn't care for. Um, I
that's not the
loved.
one I'm talking about.
Huh? Okay, good.
And
Then it's not the one I'm talking about. So I think we might be on the same page. Um, I loved all of your entries, and you know what? I figured something out. I had a little bit of an epiphany when I was looking at your list and I was rewatching some stuff. You have a year.
mm-hmm.
of favorite movies. Maybe two, but 2014 is
Yeah,
your year for
yeah.
movies. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the last few times you've had at least two of your five picks have been from
Yeah,
2014 or 2013. Last
yeah,
week you had two from 2014 and one from 2013, and you have the same this time.
yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting. I'm like, oh, Rich has a type. Rich has like a level where he's like,
I do.
dude, and I know that 2019 was a big year for you too. You loved
Mm-hmm.
like, with Jojo Rabbit and Joker and 1917 and all those ones. 2019 was a phenomenal year, but I didn't realize how impactful 2014 was
Yeah,
for you until I started looking at your list here. Because I started to notice with sci-fi.
yeah.
I started to notice with sci-fi because Edge of Tomorrow, and then I was like, okay, and then thrillers, and I was like, oh hey, we got a couple of 2014s
Mm-hmm.
here, and now again with war. So I'm gonna go back and start kind of thumbing through and see how many of your movies
Yeah.
of all genres you actually grabbed from 2014. I'm thinking there might be one from
I
that
probably
year in
one.
each of
I
your
think you're
five.
right. It's one from each, at
I think
least.
I think so. And
Yeah,
I've got the notebook. I've got them all written down, so I can go
yeah.
back through. Um, I just thought that was really interesting. I seem to be all over the place because I go I go all the way back to like maybe even late 70s, but early
Yeah.
80s is kind of I like early to mid 80s, and then I'm kind of like in the 90s a little bit, and then I'm kind of in the low 2000s where I really like my movies. But 2019, I agree though, it was a
I
great
love
year.
that year of
Some
movies, man.
awesome movies. So I was totally down for that. I'm glad that we have two people on
Me
because
too.
of all the all the technical issues that we had. Hopefully we'll get some more coming in as we go
Yeah.
along. But
We
anyway,
appreciate you
let's
guys.
yeah, we really appreciate you guys jumping in and sticking with us even though we started a little bit late tonight. But technical issues must intrude, and it it wouldn't have been a good idea to go live right on time because we weren't sure what anything was going to look like.
Yeah.
Uh, so, all right, so let's jump into our first movie. What do you think?
Let's do it, man.
All right. So, first movie is American Sniper. That's going to be your pick, 2014.
I
Um,
love this movie.
you know what? I mean, I liked it, but I wasn't I didn't really put this in a war movie category.
Oh,
And
really?
I don't, yeah, I'm not sure why. Now that I go back and see it, I think because he was out and dealing with more PTSD and things like that too. But as I went back through it, I'm like, oh yeah, no, he was there. He was,
Yeah.
and maybe I don't view the Iraq War as a war, and maybe it's me. But I mean, as
If
far
an
as
American
as far as
soldier dies,
when I'm thinking about war movies, I'm thinking World War One, World War Two, Vietnam
yeah.
as a general
That's what
rule.
most people think.
That's what most people think. And I did go out of bounds on my alternate because I went with not Hacksaw Ridge, but Heartbreak Ridge,
Yeah.
and that's Clint Eastwood, and that's about Grenada, which was like a
Mm-hmm.
2-day war.
Yeah.
But um,
But in my opinion, if an American soldier dies, it's a war. Or, in
okay,
my opinion.
okay, I can I can see that, especially if an American soldier dies doing a military operation.
Yes. Yeah, I guess
Um,
that's a better way to phrase it. Yeah.
yeah. All right. All right. So let's take a look at American Sniper. First of all, let's talk about the cast. You said you made some notes on some of these
Yeah, because
with
all these 10 movies that were on this list, they all had great casts.
yeah.
Whether they were known, whether they were not known. So I started just writing down actors right away or making notes on my phone right away that, okay, I need to remember this movie because this and this. So
Hmm.
I made sure I wrote down every actor I recognized because I didn't want to mess up the scores on this.
Okay. All right. So
So
where are you at with the cast?
for American Sniper,
Yeah.
I am only okay. out of 4
Okay. I'm
because
at
I
a
only recognize
6. Yeah.
Bradley
Do you
Cooper and Sienna Miller.
Okay. And you recognized because Sienna Miller, I was face but not name.
Yeah, she was in the X Men.
Okay. Was he like Dazzler or something that I
She was the White Queen
Oh, in
in First Class.
first class. Okay. I didn't even from that movie, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that came out before First Class, right? Or
I don't know. I didn't see American Sniper in the theater.
no, I saw it on physical media. That's the first time I
Me
saw it.
too. It was a blind
Um,
buy for me.
but I think First Class I saw on physical media first too. No, physical media First Class was first in
Uh,
2011. So that works. But yeah,
uh,
Sienna Miller, I recognized her face, but
yeah.
I couldn't tell where I remembered her from. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give that 1 point. And then I was looking at, of course, Bradley Cooper, Kyle Gallner. I recognize, but I didn't recognize him by name, just by face.
Yeah.
Elise Robertson I knew by face, and Leonard Roberts, who was instructor role. I recognize him from like some old time action movies like Most Wanted with Keenan Ivory Wayans and things like that. But I didn't recognize they were just faces where I was like, oh hey, I know that guy. The only one I actually knew by name was Bradley Cooper. So, but still, two, three, four, five, six.
I'm
So I
only
get
at
1 point
4.
for each of those. So you didn't have anybody that you knew by face, but you didn't
Mm-mm.
know their name.
Uh,
All right, all right. Well, that averages us out to a 5. All right, let's talk about the acting.
I loved it. This is for
Um,
me where I took Bradley Cooper as a serious actor.
okay.
Um,
I agree with that. I think he knocked it out of the park
I did too.
because he absolutely played that guy.
Yes.
I mean, there there was an interview where the two of them were talking together, and he was talking like Kyle, like the sniper, and they sounded pretty much alike.
Uh huh.
It was impressive. I remember watching a behind the scenes thing. Um, but you know, he's the only one that I remember doing any really good acting in the
I
movie. Everything else was just kind of a
Sienna
fixture
Miller.
point. It was him. Yeah, Sienna Miller was fine, but
This is her best role,
okay,
in my opinion, because she's not a good actress, in my
nah,
opinion. She
no,
sucked in X Men.
yeah,
Uh, but I on Brad Pitt, Bradley Cooper's performance alone,
we're gonna get to Brad Pitt in a minute.
um, I'm gonna I'm gonna have to go with 7, just
Okay,
because he carried that movie on his back.
no, no, I'm totally down for a 7. And I was actually sad that I was thinking 7, but really I thought the
Uh
only
huh.
really good acting job was Bradley Cooper.
Yeah.
Everyone else was kind of window dressing to me in the movie. I mean, the movie does
Yeah.
focus on him, but there was no one else that stood out for me, acting wise. Okay, so let's go to the plot. What did you think of the trailer when we watched it before the show?
The trailer's a 10 for me.
I dug it. It's definitely I'm gonna go 8. Um, because I have some ones that I was like 10, and I think you know which one I was talking about
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Um, but I really liked all these trailers. I think with the exception of one, there was one trailer that I was kind of like, okay. Um, and unfortunately, it was a 30-second teaser, and
Yeah. That's the
that's what we
same
got.
one. I'm like,
Same one. We're just kind of
yeah.
like, I mean, I love that movie. It was my favorite of that year. But yeah, that trailer that we watched, I was just kind of like, ah, man, I
Mm-hmm.
really wish I would have grabbed something else for that. But
But I'm
we
gonna
get
tell you
what we
something.
get.
That's the trailer I originally saw.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
was the first one I saw too. But I
Yeah.
know I saw some other ones after that, and that's when again, I didn't watch that one, and a lot of these I didn't see in the theater. I'm
Yeah.
not
Me
one to
either.
see war movies in the theater. I think.
Me either.
Um, I'm looking at these, and there's only one that I saw in the theater of the 10,
I
but
don't
I
remember.
own all of them.
Yeah.
Unfor-
This film I don't own.
Okay, so we average out to a 9 for the plot. Let's talk about the ending.
Ugh. You know
It
how the
was
story ends,
yes,
but it's the journey that gets you to
yeah,
the.
yes.
Um, it sucks. Not the ending sucks. The what happened sucks.
What happened sucks.
Yeah,
It's yeah, it's kind of heart wrenching, tear jerking,
yeah. I,
sad,
I'm gonna go
depressing.
9.
Okay, that's good. Again, I'm gonna go an 8 because, but yeah, I think my favorite part was about 3/4 of the way in,
Mm-hmm.
and um, and it's the whole, and you actually saw part of that in the trailer when he was in the bar and he was talking to
Yeah.
his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I really felt that that was you could tell what was going
Exactly.
on in Bradley Cooper's mind as that character, and I really felt that. That's where I felt the acting was like
Yeah.
on point was him. Okay, let's talk about the story. Most of these movies are based on a true story, so
Yep.
I got to give props to that because um, aside from an embellishment here or there, I think the stories are fairly accurate
I agree.
to the actual history. Um, so yeah, again, I'm gonna throw
Thank
another
you,
8 at
Jerry.
this. Uh,
I was going 8.
yeah, I'm gonna throw an 8 at that.
Yeah.
Jerry, thanks, brother. Um, but yeah, I thought solid story, no real major holes to speak of, but there is better story
Yeah.
wise
I
in this
agree.
in our 10. There is better, and I don't want to throw out a whole bunch of tens
Right.
like I'm throwing cats at people. I just want to I want to go okay. Again, I was really careful in scoring this tonight too because I was like, okay, what was my favorite? What would I give a 10? And then I'm like, I'm picking maybe two or three nines, picking a few eights, and then I start going down from there. But uh, aside from a couple of categories, I don't think anything's going to be below a 5 for me.
Right.
It's just these movies are so good. Um, okay, let's get to the other five aspects. So what I did was I kind of blanketed them all with the same categories. There's only one exception, and that's our comedy. So that one's going to have one different category than
Okay.
everyone else has. But I think it'll only help its score because it doesn't have the other aspect so much. So what I did was I went script, cinematography, violence, the war elements of the movie, and the intensity as the five aspects. And that's for all of them save one. And the other one only has one different one. So we'll get to it when we get to that movie. So let's start off with the script. What did you think about the script for American Sniper?
I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was solid.
Yeah, it's not a 10. Like
No.
I'm gonna go an 8.
Yeah, I'm throwing another 8 at that too.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that. Um, cinematography. Um,
It's
this
not a
it's again, yeah, it's not a 10. It's
yeah.
more
It's not
it's
an 8
really
either.
no, it's not an 8 either.
Uh,
It's tight because
it is.
it's really focusing on Bradley Cooper. It's
Yeah, it's
not
like one room shots.
yeah,
It's
or even when he's doing his thing, when he's
yeah.
sniping and killing people, you kind of only see him
Mm-hmm.
and then you see the shot. You don't get
Yeah.
a whole lot of wide like you normally do with a war movie. You don't get a lot of wide shots and like
Yeah.
the with the backdrop and all that kind of stuff. You don't kind of get that. So
I'm at a
I
6.
think I'm at yeah, I was just gonna say I'm at a 6.
Yeah.
I can't disagree with that. I
Yeah.
was like I was trying to give it a 7. I really was. But looking at our other movies that we've got,
Yeah. I mean,
it's
there's one that comes to mind. It's just like no, it doesn't come even come close.
no. There's no way. It's like shooting a bullet and throwing it compared
Hmm.
to compared to some of the other ones we've got. And to give that, I think to give that a 7 would be an insult to the other
Yeah,
ones.
I agree.
Um, okay, so let's talk about the violence. I think it's violent, but it's more intense for
Yeah,
me.
I am
Um,
100% agree with that.
because you know how it's gosh, there's a thing about um, being a sniper. You're violent from a distance,
Hmm.
so you don't really see the carnage that you create so much. I kind of got that feel.
I
I
agree.
felt disconnected from the violence a little bit, but I felt Bradley Cooper's connection to the violence that he was creating.
You definitely felt that.
Yeah, so that goes into his acting. So
Yeah.
I'm actually going to give that a 7 for the
Oh,
violence.
you took the words right out of my mouth.
Um, the war elements of the movie. Again, I think one of my favorite scenes is I guess toward the beginning of the film when he's interviewing with that commander and is like, would it strike you to
Thanks, movie hunter.
movie hunter? Thanks, brother. Smash that like button, you guys. I really appreciate that. Um, is when he said, we've estimated that you have 160 confirmed
60.
kills.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? And he's like, meh.
Yeah.
But because it's just a job to him. He was
Hmm.
like, I clock in, I clock out, until something got under his skin, and
Yep.
then the floodgates opened, and everything was like, holy crap, what have I done? Um,
Yep.
uh, so I estimate that that's true for just about anybody. That's where PTSD is a huge thing, and a lot of
Yeah.
that is not necessarily because of fear, but it's because of um, the stuff that you've done.
Yeah. I mean, and
And
that's not to get on a soapbox, but I think it's very important that our soldiers that come home, that's been in war,
they
should get the top notch care,
exactly they should be treated
like royalty.
with so much more respect than they are,
Yes. They shouldn't be
and
waiting months and months to get treatment.
and
They
get
should be,
half-ass treatment. I'm sorry.
yes.
And here I am on my soapbox because I completely agree. I unfortunately never made it into the service.
I mean, I
Um,
wanted to, and
I
I chickened out.
now I applied, well, but I've had asthma since birth, so that was a huge
Uh,
no-no. I almost got into the Air Force on a technicality because on their application it asks you if you've had asthma since you were 9, and I could actually legitimately say no to that because I've had asthma since birth.
yeah.
But when I took the medical exam and they noticed I had asthma, they were like, "Well, it says you don't have asthma." And I says, "No, it says I haven't had asthma since I was 9." And he literally said, "Well, how long have you had asthma?" And I said, "Since I was born." And he rips the form right in front of me.
Oh
And
damn.
he said, "Get the fuck out of my office." And I was like, "Damn it!"
Yeah.
but
But
the physical test, I did 2 miles in under 11 minutes. I did 17 pull-ups. I did 72 sit-ups in a minute. I mean, I like blasted all the physical training things,
right.
and so much in fact that the recruiter was like, "Dude, you got to let him in." You got, and they were like, "No, asthma is a no-go. He can't. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. He's going to be somewhere. He's going to have an asthma attack, and he's going to be dead because he's going to get shot."
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I see that,
But
but
again, we both agree they need
yeah,
top notch
but
care.
they need top-notch care.
Hmm.
I am, I am, I am an advocate for our soldiers, our
Me too.
veterans. They need top-notch care. They need they need everything. They need their feet tickled whenever they want it. I'm
Yep.
just going to say that.
There should never
And
be a homeless.
there should never be a
Um,
homeless veteran
no,
ever.
no. They
Um,
fought for our country. They fought for
yeah.
us to do this fucking
Movie
show.
Hunter agrees. The government should give the best health care available for their employees,
Hmm.
veterans. Anything less is shameful. I agree.
Yep. No. Or movie
My
hunter.
other
I'm sorry.
soapbox is for teachers. Teachers should
Hmm.
be the highest paid profession of, of anyone
Yeah.
because
I
it's
agree.
teachers that create the people that are in society today.
Yep.
And
My
so,
daughter would agree with you.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
and again,
Sorry, we were on a
I'm not a
soapbox tonight.
teacher. I'm an instructional designer, but I'm not a teacher. But I think teachers are way more important than they get paid for.
I agree. They should
Um,
never have to pay for supplies out of their pocket.
exactly. I mean, I also feel the same about police, fire department. I believe those guys should be treated with more respect than they are.
I agree.
Um, but okay, soapbox over.
We're off our
Let,
soapbox. Yeah.
let's get to it. So what do we think of the war elements?
I'm gonna go
Of
another 7.
yeah, I'm down for that. And then here's where I really like this is the intensity. The intensity
Mm-hmm.
builds
Yeah,
like a
because you know
teapot.
what's happening.
It you know what's going on in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing when the catalyst happens that breaks him. And I'm not going to say what that is. If you haven't
Yeah,
seen
we don't
American
want to
Sniper,
spoil it.
watch it. Um, yeah, my sister had a
Yeah.
master's and was teaching, but left work at Six Flags, left to work at Six Flags for better pay. Exactly.
Yeah.
I absolutely wanted to be a teacher, but at a
And my daughter.
maximum of maybe 20 to 30 grand a year in
Yeah.
California, there's no way I could raise my kids on
In
that.
California.
Yeah,
Fuck. Yeah. As expensive as it is out there.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's my
mean,
daughter's going to be a teacher.
you have to have a PhD and be teaching at a university to even get a glimpse of six figures
Yeah,
as a teacher in California. And
that's
I'm like,
crazy.
considering how much they charge for education in California, I'm like, come on, pay these
Mm-hmm.
dudes. Um, but yeah, so I went into tech support, teach people a different way, because that was the way I was going to be able to raise my kids.
Yeah.
So okay, so the intensity of
I'm
this
gonna
movie
go.
I think is where it's at. I'm at a 9.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
I
9.
I loved how it built.
Yes.
And like I said, there's one or two I think might be a little bit more intense, but for it just being focused on one person, the intensity here is phenomenal.
Yeah, I
And the
agree.
only reason why I'm knocking it down is because it's only about Bradley Cooper.
Yep. I 100% agree with you on that.
All right. Interesting. Okay, so let's go to the next one. And yeah, I saw it. I didn't randomize this one. We're just gonna do this one. Get it out of the way. So, movie number two, we're gonna do Good Morning Vietnam. Now, this was my pick, and
And
I
I see
know
why you picked it. I
you
really
kind of,
do.
yeah, you kind of get that, right?
Yeah.
I went. I mean, I love this movie, but I don't love it as a war movie.
Right.
I love it. I love it as something else because I am a huge Robin Williams fan. But it has enough war elements.
It does.
This is what I call a war movie for people who don't like war movies.
And I told you, I said earlier, that belongs on the fucking DVD or Blu-ray box.
Yeah. Um, it warms you up with
Mm-hmm.
the comedy and the fun, and then I got to tell you, shit happens, and it gets to be a war movie.
Yeah.
So, um, and I really think it was brilliantly acted, and I'm gonna put the finger on Forrest Whitaker as my
That's
favorite performance
I want.
in that movie. So,
I'm gonna
because yeah,
say
I'm
this.
not. Robin Williams was Robin Williams.
Yeah, I don't like Robin Williams. He's
I
I respect his performance in this. I understand what he did. Um, and I'm gonna say it's about Forrest Whitaker. I'm not a big Forrest Whitaker fan, but this is his best role, I think.
yeah, I mean, I loved him in Panic Room with Jodie
Yeah.
Foster. That would probably be my closest thing. And then there's one that not many people know about. It's called The Last King of Scotland.
Yeah.
And I thought
He's
his
good in that too.
performance there was really good, but
Yeah.
he's really hard to watch in that because he is evil.
Yeah.
He's a bad freaking dude in Last King of Scotland. I've only seen that movie once, but
Yeah.
he was phenomenal in that. But yeah, I love Forrest Whitaker. I think he's a brilliant actor. But yeah, he's not. I don't like him for the movies that everyone else likes him for.
Right.
It's really funny because yeah, I liked him in Bloodsport with Van Damme. I loved him in Bloodsport.
Mm.
because he was
Yeah.
just a goofy military
Mm-hmm.
police guy that was just trying to take him in, and but, but he's also like 6'5" and 280 pounds. He's a big dude. So he towers over Van Damme, but Van Damme kicked the crap out of him. Anyway, tangent.
Yeah.
Back back on topic. Let's talk about the cast. Um,
I'm at a 4 because there's only.
okay.
Oh
So
wait, I'm at a 5. I'm at a 5 because there's
uh,
one dude in there I recognize. He's in a lot of things at that time.
okay.
I don't know his name. He's got the puffy hair, white guy.
White guy puffy hair. Was it one of the
Hold on,
one
let
of
me
the
go to
other
IMDb.
DJs or
Yeah, hold on,
okay.
let me go to IMDb. Where'd my IMDb go? Sorry,
Yeah. So I'm on IMDb too. So I recognize Robin Williams, Forrest Whitaker, right? So
Robert Wall.
those are Robert Wool. Okay, yeah, that was the one I
Yeah,
thought you were talking about.
yeah,
I recognize him too, but only by face.
yeah.
And then JT Walsh, I recognize him, um, but I don't think that one's going to count because I remember him from The Negotiator, which
Wait a
came out
minute.
later.
Was it one of them in the cocoon?
Yes,
No.
Noble Willingham, the
Yes.
general. He was in
And
Cocoon.
that's a 6 for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be 6 for me too. I also recognize the twins, but that's from Terminator 2. So Dan and Don Stanton, the
Yeah.
censors, because he was the security guard in Terminator 2, which I just watched the 4K of a little while ago.
It's
And
not as bad as everybody makes it. I haven't. I haven't watched it.
you know what? I get why people think it's bad, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Is it
I had
waxy looking?
it is. I mean, they took all the grain out,
Yeah.
so there's no grain. It's really bright. I didn't mind the picture quality. That it didn't bother me. But yeah, it was a little waxy. It was the sound that bothered me.
Oh,
Because
I
if
can
you're
see
gonna
that.
if you're gonna do the 4K, give me Dolby Atmos or give me DTX 10. Don't give me no 5.1 crap and then only my soundbar works. And then I can't hear the dialogue. I have to turn it up and then I have to
Right.
turn it down when shit starts exploding.
Yeah.
I was like, no. So that was my biggest problem, my biggest takeaway of it. But I'm going to tell you that steelbook is awesome.
It is a
I
beautiful looking
It's
steelbook.
a beautiful steelbook.
It really
Um,
is.
so yeah, that's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I did score it on my Facebook page. So it will show up on Instagram at some point with my
Okay,
with
good.
my score on it. But yeah, I wasn't too disappointed in it, but I get the reason why people think it's like one of the worst transfers out there.
And
But
see, that
I, I
kind of
still
goes
I
with the.
still think Eternals was worse.
Uh, I haven't bought that yet. That's still that kind of is the opposite way of some of the Star Wars 4Ks. It's like
Hmm.
it's kind of like the grain is stuck. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird looking to me in some spots.
Yeah. Okay. So we're both at 6 for the cast. Let's go to the
Yep.
acting on Good Morning Vietnam. So
I'm at it 9.
yeah, that read
I'm
my
at a
mind.
9.
Read my. I think the acting is really good in this, and that's because it's character driven.
It
So
is very character
all
driven.
and all the actors in here, recognizable or not, they all have their own distinct
Mm-hmm.
personalities. They're all really cool to watch. I even like the dorky lieutenant who hates
Mm-hmm.
Robin Williams and he tries to do his own comedy routine and it tanks horribly. But I thought he was hilarious. I was not his thing, but his whole acting thing. It was awesome. And I like the whole thing where Robin Williams teaches to the
Mm-hmm.
Vietnamese. He tries to teach them English just so he can get with that girl. And just hilarious. Uh, okay, so let's talk about the plot. I I I was pretty jazzed about the trailer.
Tra-
I
I, I
I I I,
I
I
will
liked
give the
it.
trailer. I like the
Yeah,
trailer.
I dug the trailer. So I'm gonna give the
I'm at an
trailer a
8.
9. You're an 8.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
at an 8. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't one of my favorite trailers, but it was good. And it's 1987. They really did trailers right back then.
Yeah.
They really did those right. And there's a few of these old ones where I'm like, man, I love that trailer.
Yeah.
Um,
They
okay, so
don't
let's
give
talk
everything
about
away.
let's yeah, let's talk about the ending. The ending was kind of flat. It was just kind of
Hmm.
again with this one, it was more about the journey because
Yep.
when it ended, it was like, okay, he
And
lost
that's
his show,
okay.
and he just kind of goes off. He
Yep.
just goes back to what excuse me, goes back to what he was doing before. He just flies back to the U.S. and
Hmm.
um, you know, but he accomplished what he wanted to do, and he did a recording of his last thing, and they played it on tape, and so he was like, goodbye Vietnam, and he did the thing.
Yep.
I actually thought it was kind of poignant and kind of
Yeah.
okay, it let you down. We knew that everything was happening, but hey, everything's okay. I'm gonna be good, and I'm just gonna go off quietly. And so
For
yeah, I'm at a
me,
7.
yeah, 7.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't great. I thought it was a good ending. I got closure, but yeah, it wasn't like epic or it wasn't
Yeah. I
it
agree.
wasn't awesome by any means. Uh, I did like the story. I think the story is one of my favorite things here because it's not just solely about the war.
Yep.
It's about a person who's trying to help the soldiers by bringing them levity,
Yep.
bringing light to their darkness. And I loved that about this movie. So I'm going to give the story a 9.
Uh, I'm gonna go an 8
Okay.
on that.
Okay. So let's talk about the script. Um, and I'm just going to say, I think the script is going to be low for me
Me too.
because Robin Williams ad libbed all this crap.
Yeah.
so so I'm actually even though the
I'm at
acting
a
is good and the
6.
story is good, I'm at a 6 for the
Yeah.
for
That's
the
what I said.
script.
Yeah.
Um, because that was all Robin Williams
Hmm. And that's some of the issues
and
I have
everybody
with
else. I
Robin
mean,
Williams.
the Crow guy, I know he can improvise. He's a comedic
Hmm.
actor. A lot of those guys are comedic actors that can basically ad lib their own stuff. So I was totally down for that. Aside from maybe Forrest Whitaker, I think Forrest Whitaker could probably ad lib his own stuff
Yeah.
too. So
Probably so much better now than then.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so cinematography, I think the cinematography here is better. I love the
I
the
do
the
too.
stuff they do in the city was
Hmm.
was really cool. I love the way they filmed that with the little scooters going all over the place
And I'm
and things
glad
like
this
that.
wasn't the one we were talking about.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
this wasn't the one we were talking about.
Yeah.
So I'm at an
For
8.
me, I'm at a 7.
Okay.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I said I gave it an 8.
Oh, okay.
I said some other stuff too, but who cares? Um, okay, so now this is the category that I pulled out. So instead of violence, because this isn't an incredibly violent movie, I'm going with the humor of it
Oh,
because it's a comedy. So
yeah.
I'm going to give the humor a 9. The humor is primarily Robin Williams doing his stuff,
Hmm.
but some of the other DJs are funny too. I
Yeah.
love the banter back and forth with the general and the lieutenant.
Yeah.
So I was digging that. I thought the chemistry was really good with the whole cast. So I'm gonna throw a 9 at the humor.
I'm
And
gonna
I
go
know you're not a
lower.
Robin Williams fan, so pull that out
I am.
and just kind of
I chuckled.
yeah.
I, I'm gonna go an 8.
Okay.
I mean, because I understand, because that was part of the story of the movie.
Yeah.
It, it wasn't like I don't know how to say it right. He wasn't the movie wasn't riding on his comedic like joke after joke after joke.
Yeah.
He was funny when he needed to be funny,
Yeah.
and so that's why I went with an
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It wasn't a 2 hour stand up routine.
8. That's what exactly. There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah. Because
Because
this
if
is
it was,
like
it would probably been like a 5.
Yeah, this is like the difference for me. If you look at it this way, what Robin Williams did here and what he does on stand up is like the difference between like a movie that has music in it to having it be a musical.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so yeah, I enjoyed it. He was when he was on air,
Hmm.
he was Robin Williams.
Yeah.
When he
He's
was off
100%
air,
Robin Williams.
yeah, when he was off air, he was still funny, but he wasn't as zany and crazy and
Yeah.
as he is on air. Because when he's on air, he's got his persona and or his gimmick, and he does his thing. So let's talk about the aspects of the war. And this was an interesting thing because I this is an absolute true story. This
Yeah.
Adrian Cronauer was an actual character who did this during
Hmm.
the Vietnam War. This actually happened. I talked to a person who had a relative that knew the radio show
Oh, that's
and
cool.
listened to it all the time. And he told me he was like, "Oh man, it was totally real because I was talking about and I think it was Ryan. I was talking about Good Morning Vietnam because it came up during his high five where I mentioned that movie as an example of something else. And he's like, "Oh yeah," he goes, "My uncle or my great uncle was in Vietnam and he knew about Adrian Cronauer. He listened to that radio show, and it was exactly like that. He did voices and all kinds of crazy stuff to try and do rock and roll music when they were trying to censor him and keep him from doing all that stuff. And he just wanted to kind of help the soldiers. So I really like that aspect.
Yeah.
Um, it doesn't show you're not in the rice paddies, and it's not showing a whole bunch.
Right.
But there is a bomb. There is attacks that happen.
Ah.
There are some things, particularly toward the second half of the movie, um, that deal with the war itself. So I did like it, but it wasn't all the way through. But I did like the basis and fact of the actual Adrian Cronauer show and how that worked.
Hmm.
So I'm actually going to throw a 9 at this because I thought the war aspects were really good.
I'm a little bit lower. I'm
Okay,
gonna go an 8.
that's fine. And that's it. Anything
Oh yeah.
else?
I'm sorry. I thought you were gonna say something.
I thought you were going to say something. I'm going to go
No,
lower. I'm going to go an 8. And I was like, okay, I was waiting for
no. I it just
something else. No,
when
that's cool. I
war
totally
movies. This is why I'm glad that you picked it because it's not like any of the other ones.
yeah,
But when I want a war movie, I want a lot of action. You know what I mean? I
right.
want
You want that violence. You want
yeah.
stuff to happen. But yeah, this doesn't do that.
No.
And there's another movie that's not really like that.
Hmm.
And I think it's another one that I picked where I'm like, I wanted to
Yep.
show a different side of the war
And
movies.
the
And
porn scene.
yeah, and I hate these naked old people.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's
but
why I respected you for picking it.
thank you.
You know, even though I'm not a fan of Robin Williams,
Hmm.
I will watch it. You know, I mean, he, I don't know, it's just something. Like, this can sound weird. I love him as Mork in Mork and
Yeah,
Mindy,
I remember.
and
Yeah, we had that talk, and I was like, oh, okay.
and I don't know why.
And
I
and
remember loving that.
it was so funny because you know how Mork got started.
Yeah, was it on
You
Happy Days?
Yeah, it was on Happy Days, but do you know why?
Uh-uh.
Okay, it was it was Penny Marshall or no, it was Penny Marshall's daughter, so Gary Marshall's granddaughter that was like, you know, she was backstage with him and she goes, "Grandpa, I want you to put aliens in the show." That was it.
Really?
So he was like, "Okay, I want to put an alien on Happy Days." And the guy goes, "Oh, you want an alien? You need to go see Robin Williams." So they sent him to the Laugh Factory in LA to see Robin Williams on stage. And then Gary Marshall was like, "Hey, could you be an alien?" And he just did it right there on the spot.
That's awesome.
And it was Mork. And he was like, "Do that exact thing. We're going to put you on the show."
That's
I thought it
cool.
was the absolute stupidest thing I ever saw on Happy Days. but I loved the Mork and Mindy spinoff.
Yeah,
I dug that show. I thought it was funny
yeah.
as
I
heck.
I liked it. I remember seeing it as a kid and really liking it and
And the
stuff.
thing about that one is you had to, because he was on national TV prime time.
Hmm.
He had to rein it in.
Yeah.
He couldn't be his. He could do a little bit, but he couldn't. The censors were like there, watching him every show, every taping to like cut him off.
I don't
And it,
remember where I saw the reruns. I just remember enjoying them.
yeah,
I remember watching them with my grandpa.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so let's. The last thing is the intensity of this, and the intensity is not the main thing. It
mm-hmm.
it does get intense toward the end
Mm-hmm.
when everything starts happening with the bar exploding
Yep.
and and then the lieutenant kind of throwing them on that road, making them deal with the fact that the VC
uh,
are out there because he was trying to get him killed, is what it
yeah.
was. Um, but it
I'm gonna
wasn't. Intensity is not the thing. So
no, and it didn't need to be in
no,
this type of movie.
no.
No, I'm gonna go with 6.
Okay. No, I'm good with that. That's a total. That was a number I was thinking too.
It scored higher than I thought it was going to, just by the numbers that were throwing.
Yeah, yeah, pretty decent score. All right. Movie number three, Lone Survivor.
Oh, yeah. I'll go to my notes. This was another blind buy when I bought the movie. Hadn't seen it. Target put out that Steelbook. Was it Steelbook? Yeah, it was a Steelbook, and I really dug it.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
I
upgraded to the 4K.
I
It
was
was good
gonna. I
4K.
Yeah, I have not seen the. I don't have the 4K, so I just have the Blu-ray. Um, but no, but I do have the Steelbook of Good Morning Vietnam.
That's a cool Steelbook.
um, anyway, uh, I wanted to see this in the theater, but I didn't make it in time. It just
Right,
didn't
right.
happen. So I did. I bought it when it first came out, and it was because I love the cast.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
This has a really good cast, and because I'm looking at it, and to be honest, I'm at a 10 for the cast.
I'm at a
Uh,
7.
okay, because you got Mark Wahlberg, Taylor Kitsch,
It's
Emil
Eric
Hirsch,
Bana.
Ben Foster, Eric Bana, Alexander Ludwig. Um,
See, I Ben Foster. When I looked after I wrote down the people's names,
mhm.
I that was the other person, one other person I recognized. That's why I'm at a 7. I didn't know his name.
Okay. Now Ben Foster is one of my Swiss Army knife actors. I love him in
I remember you
anything he
saying that
does.
before.
Yeah, he can do any role because he did 30 Days of Night, um, where he was like a familiar and he just had like a little role, but he made that movie. And then he did Hell or High Water with Chris Pine
Yeah.
and buried him in the acting. I thought he did so good. And then he did The Mechanic with Jason Statham and buried him in the acting. That wasn't too hard.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so 10.7, so 8.5. And Emil Hirsch is a name that I like him. But he doesn't do many big roles.
I don't know who he is.
Um, he did a he did an alien invasion movie called Darkest Hour, and it was where the aliens are all invisible and
Oh,
killing people with the electricity and stuff. So he
yes,
he
I
did
do remember
that.
that. And
Um,
he has the guy from The Killing in that movie.
yeah,
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 I know the movie. Yeah,
yeah. But I see him in a lot of movies, but he's just kind of like a sub
yeah.
character. He's just kind of there. And I have to think about that. I wonder if he's in one other movie that we have on our list, and I've got to check that. I don't think it's him. I think it's somebody else. But um, anyway, acting.
I'm
I think
at an
the
8.
yeah, I'm at an 8 too. I think the acting was
Yeah,
solid, not tremendous.
yeah. It's a Mark
Um,
Wahlberg movie.
it's a Mark Wahlberg movie, but it's a little bit more character driven, so he's a little
Yeah.
bit better. If it's effects driven, he doesn't do well at all.
No, I don't understand.
I don't
It's so
understand that.
weird.
Is he have a problem looking at tennis balls and trying to
Yeah, I
instead
don't
of
know.
I don't know, but yeah, he did
Yeah.
way better in Father Stew than he did in Infinite, and I was just like, I
Oh,
don't understand. What's the what's the holdup? He didn't do very good in Uncharted,
mm,
but that was the whole. There's a whole lot of CGI going on,
yeah,
and I think that might be the problem. He can't like imagine what's going on around him. He
yeah.
has to actually see it. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's it. But yeah, I think I think an 8. But like I said, Ben Foster, he can act. He can act his way out of a paper bag anytime.
I
I
think
think
Taylor
Emil Hirsch
Kitsch is
did
a good
good.
actor too.
Taylor Kitsch did a great job.
He did.
I
He's very underrated.
yeah, I think he's a really good actor. I liked him in Battleship, even though it wasn't a great acted movie.
Right.
Period. It
I loved
wasn't
him in
well
fucking
written.
Friday Night Lights.
Oh yeah, that was great.
He was fantastic in that.
But I look at James Vanderbeek in that one.
No,
Um,
oh, you're talking about the movie? I'm talking about the show.
oh okay, I'm talking about the movie
Yeah.
because
I know
I
what's
was like
funny. I didn't
I
like the
never watched
movie.
the show.
I did not like the movie.
I didn't watch the show. I was just like, meh,
Oh,
I'm not interested. But I liked the
it's
movie. I
fantastic.
enjoyed the movie a lot.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's talk about the plot. This was a good trailer.
Yeah.
This was really neat.
Yeah.
I'm definitely throwing a 9 at this.
Yeah. I'm happy with a 9.
Yeah. And then the ending here, and this is kind of funny, is my daughter already left to go downstairs, but um, my daughter when she watched this movie in the theater on an awkward date that she was on, and she was like, she goes, I didn't expect everyone to die except for Mark Wahlberg. And I know I'm not spoiling it for anyone because I was like, I
Right.
go, wait, the title is Lone Survivor. So that should let you know that only one
Right.
person's going to be alive at the end of this. Lone Survivor. She's
Right.
all, I know. Just, I didn't think they were going to die. It was just like, I thought that was really funny, but it's like, it's so obvious it's Lone Survivor. And
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg's the star, so he's going to be the one to survive. Um, again, this is more about the journey
Yep.
than the destination.
Because we all knew how it was going to end.
We know you could tell by the title, you know how it's going to end,
Hmm.
even if you don't know the true story behind it.
Yeah.
Which again, this is another based on a true story.
Yeah.
Um, this one's got a little embellishment though. There's a
Yeah.
little bit more embellishing in this one, and I'm okay with that. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot. Um, but but yeah, that whole thing where they're falling down the hill and
Yeah.
they're trying to survive.
Hmm.
They're just trying to get out or get where they can
Yeah.
contact help because they
Yeah.
don't have it's so good. And but the ending just kind of it was just kind of ends. It was just kind of
Yeah.
like, oh, but yeah, it ends exactly how you think because of the title.
Hmm.
And here's what happens. And of course, he's the lone survivor, so he survives. And I'm gonna go 8 because
I was
I was
I was going to go 7.
okay.
And you
I
went higher,
just
and that was my pick.
yeah, it was your pick, and I went higher. So
Yeah.
you're welcome. Um, but the story here, I'm not keen on the story
Right. It's not.
on this one because like I said, they embellished a little bit too much
Yeah.
based from the real thing. So I'm actually gonna throw a 6
I'm
at the
gonna say
story.
7.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I made up for it. It's a wash. Um, yeah, I'm a little disappointed when they stray a little bit too far from the actual facts
Yeah,
of the movie.
yeah,
I mean, I liked it, and I would. And again, this is another one. I have this sitting in my action section. This is not. I don't have this as a war movie. I have this as an
oh
action movie.
really?
Yeah, because that's the primary thing is the whole thing of them fighting and killing each other
Yeah,
back and forth all the way down the hill. But to your point, if an American soldier is killed in a military operation, it's
yeah.
a war movie, and I absolutely agree with that point. But when I look at it, a war movie has to be from a war, an actual war that's happened, not a conflict, not a military
You don't consider the
operation.
Afghan war a
I
war?
I I never, because it was Desert Storm and Desert Shield. They were operations. It wasn't.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It,
You're
I
actually
didn't
right.
I didn't consider them war. They didn't say Afghan war. They said Desert Storm, Operation Desert Storm, Operation Desert Shield.
Yeah,
And there's your train. So I know what time it
yeah.
is. Your train's pretty
Pretty
on the
close.
money. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty close. It's actually a little bit early today. 6 minutes early. Um, okay, but let's get to the script. Script's pretty good.
hmm
I'm gonna go 7 for the
I'm gonna
script.
go 8.
Okay.
I went 8 on this one.
I like the cinematography in here.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I think it's really good. I'm actually going to throw a 9 at the
I agree with
cinematography.
you on that. I love
Um,
that scene where they're all. You see it in the trailer,
yeah.
where they're all the Afghan warriors
hmm
are on the ridge. You just see it kind of pan. The camera pans out, and you're like,
hmm
"Oh shit!"
Yeah, I like how they show it from their angle. You're looking up and you're
Yes.
seeing all that mess, and you're like, "Holy crap!" And then
hmm
and then we're like, "Okay, we got to go down." And you look, and there's just a cliff.
Yeah.
And you're like, "You mean we're gonna fall? It's not. We're not gonna descend. We're gonna crash and roll until we come to a stop. Is what's gonna happen. Um, so violence. Re-
I'm at a 10 on this.
this is really good. I'm gonna agree because it's really focused.
hmm
It's it's the it's the small versus large group
Yep.
story, and there's a couple of those in here that
hmm
that we're gonna talk about. But yeah, it's a 10 for me too.
Yeah.
And this is our first 10 that we've given.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So let's talk about the war aspects. And again, I'm a little lighter here because I think they embellish a little bit in the story. It's not as close to the real facts, but I'm still going to give it a 7.
I'm gonna go with 9
Okay.
because I mean whether all movies true story movies are all embellished
All movies,
for
they
entertainment
all
value.
embellish. This just was more obvious for me.
And I don't hold it against it because it's entertainment.
No, I agree.
I think that's why I give it a 9. I mean, I loved it.
Yeah, if it didn't bother you at all,
Yeah.
no worries. Um, okay. And the last thing is intensity. I think the intensity is really good here.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, okay, we gonna die.
yeah. Yeah.
This is the shit. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna throw a 9 at this. I
I'm
think.
happy with a 9 too. This is a great 4K transfer. If you know, it looks really good.
Okay, there we go. All right, let's go to the next one.
What's up, Dell?
What's up, Dell?
You first. Oh damn, Dell.
84% have already found love.
That's awesome. We
All
appreciate you
right.
joining us tonight.
Yeah, totally. All right, so let's go to the next one, and this one's going to be one of mine. It is Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, great pick. Great
Oh
pick.
man, love this movie. Like I said, I own the Blu-ray and the 4K Steelbook. This is the 4K Steelbook.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
It's really good.
Yeah.
I love the picture underneath and the back. It's awesome. But I am a huge fan of this movie, and I love the background of the actual story. Um,
Yes.
Particularly because the person who this is about, they had to wait for him to die before they did this movie because he
Oh, really?
refused to let this be filmed. He did not want a movie about him because he didn't think he was that important. He said the rest of the soldiers are more important than I am. He refused to allow this to go public.
Really? I didn't
At,
know that.
yeah, after he passed away, his family allowed the story to be released.
Oh, wow.
So, because yeah, you know me, if I absolutely love a movie, I am all about those special features.
Yeah, that's true.
I, I am watching everything, how it was made, deleted scenes, bloopers if they got them. Those are my first three go-tos, and then I'm like all the vignettes, all the featurettes, every little thing,
Hmm.
and they talked about the actual story about Private Doss, and he was like, "No, I don't want you to do a movie about me because I'm not as important as everyone else was in the war. I was just one man doing one thing."
Yeah, that's
Uh,
fantastic. This is such
so
a good movie.
it's such a good movie, and he
And Mel
and
Gibson, such a great director.
that was it was superbly directed by him
Yeah.
and beautifully acted by Andrew Garfield. So
And he knows how to get those shots.
yeah,
This
oh
look at the cinematography in this is fantastic.
yeah, this is gonna be one of my tens for
Yeah,
cinematography
me
for
too.
sure. Um, okay, so yeah, let's dive into this because so for cast, I have Andrew Garfield, Sam Worthington, Teresa
Hugo
Palmer,
Weaving,
Hugo Weaving,
Vince Vaughn.
yeah, Vince Vaughn. Um, I'm at 10 anyway, so it doesn't.
I
I'm
am at
like,
a
I know there
9.
was one more person that I knew
And there's
in
one
here.
person in there I recognized, but I didn't know the name.
Yeah.
So I'm at a 9.
Um, and who was that? Was that?
He's one of the soldiers. I have to let me pull up the IMDb.
Yeah, because I have two, four, six, eight.
So Ridge.
Andrew Garfield, Sam Worthington, Teresa Palmer, Hugo Weaving.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I've
Vince
seen him
Vaughn.
in something. I just
Yeah.
recognized his face.
So
He's one of the
yeah, well,
soldiers.
I'm at a 10 anyway, so you're at a
I'm at
9.
a 9. So
Um, yeah, so 9.5. I'm throwing a 10 at the acting because I think it was just beautifully
I'm gonna
done.
throw 11.
I would love to throw an 11, but this is not Spinal Tap. Um, we're gonna have to. Movie setter, Movie Hunter and Dell are saying hey to each other. Um, yeah, if I could give this an 11, I would.
Yeah,
And
his acting in
it
this is
may,
fantastic.
maybe we talk about that at some point to where we're gonna throw an 11 on something.
You
It's
know, people associate Andrew Garfield as Spider Man, but I'm gonna be honest with you,
I don't.
them are his worst roles.
Yeah, this this is what I know him for.
Yeah, and then
It,
if you haven't seen Eyes of Tammy Faye,
I haven't.
oh my gosh, he is
I just
fantastic in that.
I do not like the story of Tammy Faye Baker. I lived
Oh,
that. I am
I
not
don't either,
I am not a
but
fan.
Jessica
Well,
Chastain and him. And
But yeah, I feel like
I almost think she should have won that Oscar
hmm,
for her nomination in that. She transforms into Tammy Faye.
hmm,
Just watch it for just the performance alone. She's just magnificent in that movie.
yeah. But I trust you, bro, because you gave me Bombshell and Whiplash, and I probably would have watched Whiplash at some point because I owned it, but Bombshell I wouldn't have.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have touched that with a 10-foot pole, and I loved that movie.
it's a good movie.
That was the performances were so great.
Dell says Garfield is great in the eyes of Tammy Faye.
Yeah, no, I take your guys' word
Yeah,
for it.
yeah,
I'm
he's dude.
I
I don't. He's in his 40s, right?
Yeah,
Or late 30s, early 40s.
I
Man,
believe I
would.
believe he's 40, low 40s. Let me see. Wait, no, 83. He's almost 40.
Yeah,
He's 39.
I wish he got more respect. Oh, he was also in. He's awesome in Tick Tick Boom. Oh, I know you don't like musicals,
No,
but
I didn't see
oh
that
my
either.
god,
But there's a reason why I didn't see that.
yeah. I wouldn't recommend that one, but he's fantastic in that. Hey Dell, have you seen Tick Tick Boom? If you haven't, check it out if you can handle musicals.
Hmm.
Another fantastic performance. So I think he was nominated for Eyes of Tammy Faye and something in Tick Tick Boom, or Tick 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 Boom was nominated for something.
I don't know, but Hacksaw Ridge won two Oscars, one for film editing and one for sound mixing. But it was
Yeah,
nominated
that's
for Best
bullshit.
Picture, Best Actor, Best Director,
Yeah,
and sound editing, and it didn't
because
win
man,
that.
that 4K rattles, man. It's
That
so
4K is
amazing.
oh man, it's nice. I'm
Yeah,
so glad I got the 4K because I was like, I had the Blu-ray and I really loved the Blu-ray.
it's a
I
great
enjoyed
Blu-ray.
it. It's a great Blu-ray. And then I was like, you know what? And I kept going back and forth on it. But as soon as the price dropped on that Steelbook, I grabbed it.
See, I think I got
And
my 4K for 9.99
yeah, I
on
think
Amazon.
I got the Steelbook 4K for 15, I think.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I'm grabbing it. So I grabbed it and I put that in and I was like, oh, so much better on the 4K. It was so good. But yeah, the bass just shakes my house.
Yeah, it
It's
does.
awesome. It's one of my favorite transfers, and I haven't
Hmm.
scored that. I haven't because I watched this on 4K before I started scoring the 4K transfer, so I need to go back and do it again,
Yeah,
and
you definitely do.
just because I want to watch it again anyway. Um, okay, so let's talk about the plot. What did you think of the trailer when you watched it? What would you give that?
The trailer's a 10 for me, man.
Yeah, it was for me too because yeah, it made me want to go back and watch the movie again.
Uh, and I just watched it this year again too.
And what did you think of the ending?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Um, I'm gonna go for me. It's a 9.
Yeah, no, I'm down for that.
When they're carrying him out on that pulley thing, oh,
Hmm.
yeah, it's a 9 for me.
Hmm. When the grenade blew him up and they just like they all kind of picked him up
Hmm.
and carried him out and it was like it was pretty cool. um and I'm the story I'm yeah, I'm gonna throw a 10 at the story because I was like
Yeah.
not only that but the actual story of the person and why
Hmm.
he didn't want his story to be told, and then they finally did it after he passed away because that was his thing. He was like, after I die you can do whatever you want, but
Yeah, I'm at a
um
10.
yeah, it's such a beautiful story, and it was told really well by Mel Gibson. He did an
Yeah.
amazing job on this. So let's talk about the script.
Dude, I'm at a 9.
I'm yeah, I'm trying not to give it a 9, but
You,
I can't see any
yeah.
reason not to. Um, and the cinematography, I'm at a 10. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
because we'd already
We
talked
just
about it.
said that. Yeah.
We are just talking about this is one of my tens for how it was filmed because the whole
Yeah.
thing with the cliff and then how
Oh,
he
it's
was running and
beautiful.
getting the dudes and then pulling Vince Vaughn back and Vince Vaughn shooting and you're seeing that wide shot
Yes.
was beautiful. God, it was so good.
Hmm.
Um, and the violence here.
It's a 10 for me.
It's a 10, even though
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield's character is non-violent. There's
Hmm.
there's shit going on all around him,
Yeah.
and it's a
And I love that when the other soldier sees him in the pit or like the underground bunker thing,
hmm
and I just something about that scene. And
yeah,
he's like, "Oh shit."
yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me help you.
Hmm.
let me try to fix your wound. And he's like trying to. I'm not. I don't have a gun. don't hit me. I'm sorry. We gave that a 10, right, for the
Yeah,
violence.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, the war aspects.
10.
It's yeah. I can't.
You can't. There's
I can't. I can't. I want to give it a 9, but I think it would be insulting.
yeah. I'd have to argue with you on this one, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't.
And this is your pick.
This is my pick, but I'm trying to be as objective as I can. But
Yeah,
it's an amazing film, and
it really
I was
is.
like, um, now the intensity of the movie, I am going to drop a little bit,
Yeah, I'm at an
because
8.
this is more violence and his his own struggle with what's going on,
Hmm.
and how he turned his unit to his side, because his unit was
Hmm.
totally against him. They beat the
Used to beat
crap
him
out of
up.
him. They
Yeah.
beat the crap out of him in the beginning. They called him a coward, and then he saved like 50 people. Like, just kept going back and bringing people back, and he had no energy left. He had nothing
Hmm.
left, but he just kept going, and he kept saying, "Please God, let me get one
Yep. He
more.
prayed every
Please God,
single.
let me get one more." And he kept going,
Yeah.
and he kept bringing people. Um, and then he had to just jump off the cliff and go down really fast
Yeah.
because they were shooting at him. It was just, it was so good, but that goes to the acting and the story and the violence more so than it does the intensity of the movie. So I'm actually going to throw an 8 at the
That's what
intensity.
I said. It was an 8. Yeah.
But that's a really good score, bro.
Yeah. I'm interested to see Fleeks. I can't talk. Flicks and Geeks. Mel Gibson.
Geek, Geeks and Flicks.
Geeks and Flicks. See, I'm not even drinking.
You're not drinking. I am.
Yeah.
You're
I'm interested to
channeling
see.
you're channeling my alcohol.
Yeah. I'm interested in seeing their director spotlight on him.
Yeah. Okay. That was that was a great score. It was really good.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go to the next movie, and that is yours. This is Fury.
Oh, love this movie.
This is another. It's a beautiful, and
Yeah.
this one I I didn't think I was going to like
Really?
when I first bought it. I
Is it
actually
because of
I was
David Ayer?
actually I was actually debating back and forth whether to even get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know, the whole thing with the tank, I and I got to tell you, when I saw the original trailer, I wasn't into it. The trailer that we watched, I liked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but let's talk about the cast. This is another. The cast is
Phenomenal.
phenomenal in here,
I'm at a 10.
and I think I'm at a 10 too.
Yeah.
But let's discuss Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, um,
John Bernthal, Logan Lerman.
Logan Lerman, Michael Pena, yeah, John Barenthal, Jim Perrick, who's actually in one of the 911 show, Jason Isaacs,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Scott Eastwood. Yeah,
You know,
it's a 10 absolutely. This
I'm
this
really
could be an
surprised
11 for the cast.
Logan Lerman hasn't had um, a lot of, for at least to me, I haven't noticed it, a lot more bigger roles because he's a freaking good actor.
He's an amazing actor.
Oh, I loved him in Perks of Being a Wallflower.
Yeah, he was great. But yeah, between he did this, he did Perks, he did
And
the
I
Percy
can't.
Jackson movies,
Oh yeah, I don't count those though.
and then he was in Bullet Train.
Oh, he was.
Yeah,
Who was he in Bullet Train?
he was the Russian dude's son that died in the beginning. The got poisoned.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Oh damn. Yeah,
because
I mean,
I was like, is that Logan Lerman? And then he was dead, so I didn't care. Then I went back and looked at it, and I was like, yeah, it's Logan Lerman. But
oh,
it's
I
so
didn't even
funny
know.
because he did the Percy Jackson movies, and he looks so young in Fury,
Mm-hmm.
but his hair turned gray by the time he was 25.
You're kidding me.
Nope,
Oh damn.
he was like, no, his hair turned gray and he started looking pretty old. But
Oh wow.
so, but yeah, for Bullet Train, you can tell his hair's dyed.
I didn't
Uh,
even know that was him.
but I didn't. I just, I just got a glimmer of recognition, and I was like, "Is that Logan Lerman?" I had to really kind of second guess myself, and then yeah, his character. Not to spoil it for everybody, his character dies early in the movie, but
Yeah.
because he doesn't have much of a role. But
You know.
that's the biggest movie I've seen him in since
Yeah. I
this
mean,
and Percy
that's
Jackson.
surprising.
And this is another Fury 2014. Just so you know. Um, and Lone Survivor was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all right
That 2
there.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all those 2 years, and I think Lone Survivor probably came out on physical media in 2014, so it probably like right
Yeah.
there for
I
you.
didn't know Dell until he just said that.
Yep,
I dug this movie a lot.
I thought it was
Um,
good. Okay, so let's talk about the acting.
I, I I have okay. I love John Berthal,
Yes,
but
I,
he
great
is
Punisher.
yeah,
He's hard to swallow in this.
yeah,
He's hard to, and was he supposed to be like that? I don't know,
yeah,
but I didn't like his character. And
yeah,
I love John Barenthal, but I didn't like his character in this. I think I kind of get where you're going.
yeah. I would go with 8
Yeah,
on the acting on this.
yeah,
I even
solid.
had some issues with Michael Pena.
Yeah, he well,
There
Michael
were some
Pena.
scenes.
Michael Pena to me in this movie, I I didn't I didn't see him. I
Yeah,
didn't because I love the stuff that he does,
me too.
and he sticks out as
Hmm.
someone who does a generally great job. And we've talked about this in previous shows.
Yeah,
Um, even from Ant-Man and Wasp to Martian to Shooter, he's been like a good fixture person to where he's always solid. But here I just didn't feel him. I didn't.
yeah. Some of the
It,
lines he threw out, he was
yeah,
cussing in Spanish like they're supposed to be comedic.
yeah,
It just didn't work
no,
for me.
you know, and yeah, I took 4 years of Spanish in high school, so I got him. But I don't. I really think what he did could have been done by anybody.
Yeah, I
You
100%
you
agree with you.
you could have put Luis Guzman in there. You could have put, um, you know, you could have put any Latino actor in that role doing
Yeah,
the same lines, and it would have been the same.
yep, 100% agree.
Michael Pena did not bring anything to the role,
Nope,
and that's unfortunate because I like him. I
me
really
too.
like him as an actor. Um, okay, so let's talk about the plot again. When I first saw the trailer for this, I wasn't too interested. I
Mm.
wasn't sure I was going to get it. Um, I can't say I was turned
I love
off.
the trailer that we just
I
watched.
love the trailer that we watched, and I'm gonna go 8 because
I'm gonna go 8 too.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy on that.
But I think the thing that stood out for me is I did not like Brad Pitt's country accent
I didn't
in
get
the.
that.
I
I'm
was
glad you
like,
brought that up.
I was
Why?
like, why? You
Yeah.
didn't need to do that.
Uh-uh.
Is is Fury based on a true story?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I didn't. It's got distracting at sometimes.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Mm.
It doesn't say biography or history or anything like that. It just says
Yeah.
action, drama, war on IMDb. So that usually tells me that it's not really based on a true story. Um, so I was like, why did he want to go that route with the character?
Yeah.
And I don't
I
know.
didn't. Yeah.
I don't know. But I this one I really liked the ending.
I do too.
I loved how it ended.
I do too.
Um,
And my favorite scene
hmm,
of this whole movie is when Logan Lerman's underneath that tank and that other Nazi soldier
hmm,
sees him.
hmm.
It's like, okay, you know, he didn't have to be quiet and act like he didn't see him. He could be like, hey, here's an American, let's kill him.
Yeah.
I just love that scene, the look, and he puts his hands up, and you're like, oh shit. If you haven't seen, I hope I'm not spoiling it. Am I spoiling it? Oh,
I don't know. I would hope that everybody's seen this by now.
yeah, you have to see it. If you haven't seen it, go do yourself a favor, go watch it.
But
That's one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. It kind of
no,
sums up.
yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sums up it sums up Logan Lerman's character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I love. Yeah, I dig
So
it.
I dug it. So yeah, I'm giving the ending a 9 cuz
Me too.
I dug it. And although I don't think there's a basis in fact here.
Dell says
There
Fury
might be
is
a
a movie.
similar story in the war. Oh, it is based off of
Several
several soldiers'
soldiers
recollections
of their
of their
time in
time in
the
the war.
war.
Okay, so it's not like like a legit
Legit.
story that happened, but they're taking bits of people's
Yeah.
stories and they're putting it together and making this. Okay, I get it. That makes sense. Thank you. Because I was like, I don't recognize this story. I don't
Right.
recognize this event. I mean, because you give me American Sniper, I know that person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
aware of his story. And you give me Lone Survivor, and I'm aware of that story. And that's kind of why I was a little standoffish about the strays from the actual fact.
Right.
And after Hacksaw Ridge, I went and learned about his
Mm-hmm.
story because I wanted to know more. But yeah, Fury, I wasn't able to find anything
Yeah.
legit that tells me that was actually a base in fact true story. Um, but I still liked the story,
Me too.
so I was still a fan of the story and how it played
Oh, me
out,
too.
and I loved how the characters interacted with each other. Because do you remember the movie Inside Out? It's a cartoon, so I don't know if
Yeah. Oh, I
you
love. That's
watched
one of
it,
my favorite
right?
Pixar movies, man.
Okay, so you know how there's inside your brain there's a character that represents each aspect of your personality, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
sadness, your joy,
Yep.
your pain, your disgust, blah blah blah. I think that's what Fury is. I think Fury is the brain, and everybody in the tank is an aspect of a personality,
Oh, you're right.
right?
That's a great, great description
Because
of
you
that
have the
movie.
fear with Logan
And
Lerman's
Logan.
character. You have
Yeah.
the gung ho kill everybody with John Barenthal, and you have the leader
Yeah.
that's trying to bring everybody together. And you have the one that's always happy, and you have the one that's always
Mm-hmm.
sad, and that kind of thing. The one that's always pissed off because you have the anger, and that was kind of Michael Pena with the and flame.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's kind of what I got was that they were
Yeah.
like a hive mind. They were a brain like
That's a great
different
description.
aspects of a personality.
Oh, Dell, definitely watch it.
Yeah,
Oh, Dell, that's
give
your
it a
homework.
watch. Yeah, I was turned off on it at first, but when I watched it, loved it.
Yeah, it was a
I'm so
fantastic
glad I
movie.
bought it.
I
Um,
need to get it in 4K. I want to upgrade my Steelbook to 4K.
I want to get the four. I did not buy the Steelbook, but I bought the
Yeah,
Blu-ray because I wasn't sure I was gonna love it. And now that I have it and I love it, I want to get the 4K for sure.
yeah, that's a
Um,
great Steelbook.
so yeah, I am with that. I am at an 8 for the story.
Yeah, me too.
Um, and let's go to the script. I'm at an 8 for the script as well.
Yep,
I
me
think the
too.
script was well done, not perfect.
Hmm.
And again, I'm leaning to Michael Pena's character and I'm leaning to
Me
John
too.
Perenthal's character. I don't think they were written well. They
No.
were just kind of filler points. Um, but I'm still at an 8. I still think it was solid. And the cinematography, I think I'm at an 8 as well.
Yeah, I was gonna go 7.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's fine.
I mean, for me, I mean,
I I liked
it was
I liked
dull a
the
little
long
bit.
shots with the because you with the tank and you see the everybody in the distance in the field,
Hmm.
and those were kind of cool. I really enjoyed that.
But
And
the
then that
rest
scene
of it,
at
it
the
was
end that you were talking
claustrophobic.
about, yeah, that scene at the end, yeah, the whole thing inside the tank, yeah,
Yeah,
it's really confining.
yeah,
And it brings to mind movies like Buried or Wrecked because they
yeah,
were trapped in that tank. That was the
yeah.
only thing they had to protect them. Um, because they couldn't go anywhere because the tread was
No,
gone, and that's in the trailer, so that's not a spoiler.
yeah, that's not a spoiler.
Um, but so yeah, but I really dug a lot of the filming on here, but it's a little bit more focused because it's really about that tank
Hmm.
and the people in it more so than it is about the whole war.
Yeah,
So the violence, I think the violence is good here.
yeah.
I'm
I'm
I
about an 8.
yeah I think I'm at an 8. Um, I was like, do I want to throw another 8 at it? And I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Um, Again, the war aspects of this, I don't think there's a huge bug on my computer. So I'm like, oh crap, you're gonna go right over my camera lens. You're not gonna see anything except this huge bug like this on my um something I could ride that thing to the market. Um but okay. So I'm gonna raise it up a point with Movie Hunter's depiction where it says based from several soldiers' recollections. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna go 7 because
I'm
that
gonna
was
stick
gonna be
with
my lowest
7.
score. That was gonna be my. I was gonna give that a 6 until
Yeah,
Movie Hunter said his thing, and then okay, I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt and give it a 7.
yeah,
I but I love the intensity here.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm at a 10 for the
I was
intensity.
gonna
I
say 9.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I this
Um,
was my favorite part of this is how and I have a thing about confined thrillers like this. And that's kind of what I call this is a confined thriller because they're trapped in the tank and shit's going on. And I'm bringing to mind the movie Buried with Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds,
Reynolds.
where he's trapped in the coffin, he's buried
Hmm.
underground, and he's trying to figure out what's going on. That aspect of being trapped like that and you can't escape, that messes with my mind. Because and I love that because I'd be like if I was in that situation and I couldn't get out, I would be scared out of my mind. And
Yeah,
I really felt I especially felt for Logan Lerman's character, but all those guys, you could tell they were all afraid because they were
yeah,
stuck in a tank that couldn't move and there was an army coming toward them.
yeah. And not when
So,
they, yeah, when he says there's an army of them coming.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, you said 9 or did you for
yeah,
intensity? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's only towards the end that I really feel the intensity. There's a couple spots when they're on the road, when that sniper's in the bush. But yeah, Dell, definitely see that movie, man.
Hmm. All right, we got a tie. We're gonna have to decide. Well, you're gonna have to decide.
That's a lot of stress,
So
man.
far, I know. I put you under a lot of pressure. Yep. Yep. All right. Let's go to the next one. It's gonna be mine. So let's pull you. Yep, that's the one. Rescue Dawn.
Oh, this was a first time watch for me.
I'm kind of glad. I kind of wanted to pick this because I figured it would be a first time watch for a lot of people.
Yeah.
This really flew under the radar in 2006 is when it came out. And if it wasn't for the fact that I was managing a video rental shop, I probably would have never seen this.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was managing the shop and I had to take this home to watch it to see how many copies I wanted to get for the video shop. And I took it home and watched it and I was like, "Oh man, that was brilliant." But no one's going to rent this because no one's going to understand know what it's about and feel for it. So I ended up only getting 4 copies, but I recommended the hell out of this movie
Yeah.
when people were coming in because I was like, this is a war movie like you really have never seen.
Hmm.
And again, it sets it apart. It's not all action and violence and stuff like that. It's very very cerebral and emotional with what goes on. So let's talk about the cast.
I recognize, of course, Christian Bale, Steve Zahn, and one Chinese soldier, and then one the POW dude that was on Lost. So I'm at
POW dude that was on
a
Lost.
four or a six.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I think that was close, but I don't know because I recognize. Yeah, Christian Bale, Steve Zahn, absolutely, that's 4. And then I recognized, yeah, Jeremy Davies, um, because he was actually in another war movie that we have in here,
Hmm.
um, and he was also in Twister and stuff like that. And then Zach Greenier, and I think that might be the. I don't know if that's the Lost dude or if that's Toby Huss. I'm trying to remember who was in Lost. It's been a long time. So
I
yeah,
think it's
two,
Jeremy
four.
Davis.
I think you. Okay. So
I
yeah,
think.
I think that's right. I think that's Jeremy Davies. Two,
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, and 7. Because Francois Chow, who's the provincial governor of
Hmm.
Vietnam or whatever it was. I recognize him from other martial arts movies and stuff. I'm glad. I'm glad, Dell. I hope you get a chance to watch this one because
Yeah.
I think it'll be worth your time. All right, so you're at a
Yeah.
6 on two,
Hmm.
4, 5, 6, and I'm at a 7, so
Yeah.
6.5. Acting, I think the acting is really good here.
Yeah. I'm at a
In
9.
in particular, I'm at a 9 too. In particular, Steve Zahn
Yes.
kills this,
Yeah.
and I am not a fan of him. I don't
Me
like
neither.
him, especially as a comedian.
He's not
Um,
funny.
he is not funny at all. I bought a spoof movie of his called Strange Wilderness. Strange Wilderness? I think that's right. And oh man, I hated that movie.
Oh, wait a minute. He was good. Sorry, excuse me. I got the yawns. He was good in White Lotus on HBO Max. I do like him in that.
I didn't watch that. I don't have HBO Max. Um, so yeah, 9. I think we're
Yeah.
both at a 9 for the acting. Okay, the trailer on this,
It was yeah.
eh,
It was okay.
eh, it was okay. I'm gonna have to go
It did,
6 for the
I
trailer.
was
It
gonna say
didn't,
7.
yeah, it didn't really catch me. Like I said,
Yeah.
I had no knowledge of this movie. I had no interest
Yeah.
in this movie except for the fact that I had to preview it before it came out so that I could see how many copies they wanted to rent in the
Yeah.
video shop. And as the manager, I had to watch all the movies before they came out, which was great because then I could pick out the ones I was going to buy later. Um,
The struggles.
yeah, oh, the struggle is real, but I loved how this ended.
Yeah.
Such a and it's gonna fall to the story for me, but I'm gonna give the ending an 8 on this.
Yeah. I was gonna say 7.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know, it gave me a Castaway feel when he
Yeah,
finally
I can see
escaped.
that.
I kind of got a
Yeah,
Castaway feel on it when he
yeah, I
finally
can
got
see
out.
that.
But you know that even though he was out and he escaped, he was still in prison in his mind,
Yeah,
and that's kind of what caught me, where I was like,
yeah.
wow. And I think this story, I love the story here, so I'm gonna give the
Hmm.
story a 9.
I'm gonna
Uh,
go 8.
okay. Um, the script on this, I think the script on this is brilliant,
Hmm.
because it is very character driven. I don't think Steve Zahn was able to ad lib anything. I think that was all from the script. So I'm gonna give the script a 9.
Well, excuse me. Sorry, I would say 9 too.
Okay.
Even Jeremy, I can't say Jeremy Davis.
Jeremy
I
Davies.
thought
I
Davies.
thought he
He
did
did
great
good.
too.
There. Yeah, little crazy
Even
one.
even
Yeah.
the Vietnamese POWs that were in there, or
Hmm.
the Southeast Asian ones, I thought they were good, but I didn't recognize
Yeah.
any of them.
And then,
Um, the cinematography, this is the one where it fails.
yeah, I 100% agree with you.
This is the one where I'm like, oh, there was one where I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, that the whole
Yeah,
thing where he's flying and he crashes the plane and all that, not
terrible.
and this is my 5.
Yeah, I
I'm a-
5.
I'm actually at a 5 for the
Yeah.
cinematography here. This is the only thing that fails in this
Hmm.
movie. I
I
think
agree.
even the sets weren't very good.
No.
Um,
Sometimes it looks like they're on a soundstage. I ain't gonna
yeah,
lie.
yeah, no, I agree with that. I completely agree. But I looked at it for the acting and the story,
Yeah,
and this is
that's
where
what
I thought
saved
this
it to
movie
me.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, 5 for the cinematography. That's gonna kill the score on this movie. But I did think it was pretty violent. Um, and the and I'm just in there's a God, I don't want to spoil it, but
Yeah, don't spoil it.
there's a violent scene with Steve Zahn's character, that because he just goes, he's absolutely batshit,
Yeah.
because he's been a POW for so long that he's just like lost
Yeah.
his mind. Um, and then of course, there's planes shooting down and there's some stuff happening at the end. So yeah, I'm gonna go with a 7 for the
I'll be
violence.
happy with a 7.
Yeah. And I'm gonna give a good score to the war aspects here, because this is based on a true story, and this is an aspect of war that's not talked about a whole lot, with the
Oh,
POWs and
POWs?
the
Yeah.
and I mean, yeah, there's a whole lot of Lone Wolf McQuade and Rambo's where they go and save the POWs, but never the POWs themselves on the inside, and the struggle that they're going through, which is a cross between being imprisoned by terrorists and actually being in prison,
Yeah.
to where you're tortured one day and you're starved and you're beaten and you're mental stuff, and they're trying to get information from you at the same time. Um, so
Yeah.
I felt for this, and I loved this aspect of the Vietnam War as it was told as a story. It's heart wrenching, but yeah,
Yeah.
I am going to 10 on this
I'm
because
gonna
I
go
loved it.
9. Yeah.
And then the intensity, I think the intensity until he's at the POW camp and all that starts happening, it doesn't seem very intense to me.
I agree.
And part of that is the cinematography, where he crashes, he goes and finds water, he gets taken, he's they're like, "Oh, just sign this paper and you can go free." And he's like, "No, I'm not signing that paper."
Yeah.
So,
I do
off to the
like that
POW
scene.
camps he goes, and then it starts building in intensity from there
Yeah.
until he finally gets to where they try to escape. Then it gets really intense. So, yeah,
I'm
man,
about
I
an
want to
8.
give it an 8, but
That's what I'm at.
I think I want to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8.
That's yeah. The thing that really was the lack of shoes, and that was like, oh man, going through that jungle.
Hmm. Yeah, and that was part of the whole torture thing. We're take your shoes so you can't run.
Hmm.
You're gonna be less. Okay, so we got 4 more left to go. We're an hour and 40 in. We're doing okay. Not as good as last week.
Yeah, we'll be at technical difficulties this week.
Yeah. Right, your turn. You got two, I got two. Let's go with the old ones. So let's do the Patriot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had to give this one a rewatch. This is your oldest
me too.
movie in the not because it's the Revolutionary War, but your oldest movie that you
Yeah,
that you picked because it's from 2000. This is actually your oldest film that you
I
picked.
almost picked We Were Soldiers. I almost picked that.
And it was funny. My cousin Nina, that was her pick.
Oh, was it?
Was We Were Soldiers. So I was like, we're gonna do
That's
war movies, and she goes, oh yeah, We Were Soldiers, and I'm like, dude, I know we were thinking about that.
yeah.
Um, but I like this pick, and
I do too.
that was one of the things that I wanted to do was kind of pick other wars,
Yeah.
other other things that may not you may not think of because you know generally and I'm going to say this because when people think of war movies, I'm thinking of Apocalypse Now,
Mm-hmm.
Full Metal Jacket, Platoon,
Platoon,
things like
Black Hawk
that.
Down.
Black Hawk Down, maybe not even Black Hawk Down, but that's a beautiful 4K.
Oh, it
um,
is.
I'm
1917.
kind of regretting not thinking about that now. I can't stop thinking about it. Um, but we didn't have those.
Yeah.
I think you had Apocalypse Now as an
As an
alternate.
alternate. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I know you had Full Metal Jacket too, right? Or did I?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Yeah.
think you did too. So it might be a first. 3 movies in a row that he hasn't seen.
Oh, Dell, you definitely have to see that.
Oh
It
man, yeah,
is a
because
good one.
when he said the Patriot, I was like, oh, I can go and dig this up because
Mm-hmm.
I only have the DVD of this.
I had the DVD, then I upgraded to the 4K. I never got it on Blu-ray. I went
Um,
straight from DVD to 4K,
but
and
man,
it looks fantastic in
it's
4K.
it's a great watch on DVD. So I was not disappointed.
Yeah,
Um, I'm gonna lie, I had a tear in my eye.
yeah,
I had a tear in my eye,
yeah,
and a definite part of this, and I told you that part.
yeah.
So we'll get to talking about it, but let's talk about the cast first because
Let's see my cast
this
list here.
this is an early Heath Ledger,
Yep,
not super
I
early, but
I am at an 8 on the cast for Mel Gibson, Adam Baldwin, Heath
Adam,
Ledger. No, wait, I'm at a 9. I'm sorry, because there's two British soldiers. No, wait,
yeah, because you got Jason Isaacs. I recognized him,
and then two U.S.
um,
soldiers.
and well, Tom
No, I'm at a 10.
Wilkinson. So by name, Mel Gibson, Heath Ledger,
And Adam
and
Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin. So
Yeah,
6 for sure.
6. And
And
then two
then
British soldiers.
I recognized Jolie Richardson, who was the aunt that becomes the love interest,
Yeah, I didn't recognize
but
her.
I didn't know her name. Jason Isaacs, I didn't know his name until we talked about him in a previous movie. Chris Cooper, I didn't know his name. Rene Auberjonois, I did know his name. So
From Core.
so
Yeah, I'm at a 10.
so yeah, I'm at a 10 altogether. Leon Rippey.
Yeah,
Um, it's a really good cast.
yeah.
Um, hmm. So yeah. So I'm sorry. Where were you at? You're at 10 too, right?
I'm at a 10, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I was watching it and I was like, oh, I recognize that fool. I recognize that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, oh hey, that guy.
yeah.
Um. So acting. What do you think of the acting?
10,
10. Okay, I'm at an
10,
8.
10.
I'm at an 8. There was
Yeah.
a. I didn't think Heath Ledger did as good of a job as everybody thought for this, and I'm kind of going, okay. I don't expect him to be Joker, but I expected
Right.
him to be a little bit better than that. And I thought he did worse here than he did in A Knight's Tale, which I thought was another really good performance of his.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
like Knight's Tale.
but I thought well, it's really hard to get kids to act, the little ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of ignored that. I thought the majority of the militia guys, I didn't like what they were doing. Mel Gibson was solid,
See,
and Um,
I liked
and
Heath Ledger
and
in this.
I liked Jason Isaacs. I thought he was really good
Mm-hmm.
as the creepy bad guy who was doing all the bad stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did like Heath Ledger, but I didn't think this was his best performance.
Oh no.
So yeah, I'm at an 8. You're at a 10. Averages out to a 9. Still good.
Yeah.
Um, but the trailer on this was
That's a 10.
phenomenal. This is what a trailer is supposed to be, and I think I said
Yes.
that when we watched. I was like, dude, because it comes up and it has the narrator in a world with the Revolutionary War on the line, and bodies are piling up. Mel Gibson stands alone. It wasn't like that, but it was kind of like that.
Yeah.
And then you got
You
the
felt your second thought.
music, and you got the stuff blowing up and cannonballs
Yeah.
everywhere, and man, so good. But yeah, solid
I
10.
still Dell. I can't believe you haven't seen this yet. Dell, definitely go watch this movie.
Yeah. But I'm gonna say I'm pretty sure you've probably seen the last three. At at least two of the last three, but I would be yeah. I would say for sure I'm about 90% positive that you've seen the last three movies that we're gonna score. Um so hopefully it won't be four in a row. All right. Ending.
Dude, this movie pumps me up. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm
Oh,
pro America all the time.
that whole thing
Mm.
at the end with the when he's running with the flag and he's like,
Oh,
"Don't fucking retreat." God
yeah,
damn it. We
yeah.
can do this. We can
Hmm.
and he
Yeah,
had already lost so much.
yeah.
And he's like, "Just
And
give
he
me this
doesn't
flag
give
and
up.
come on, let's go." God damn it,
Yeah.
you people. And he was against war at the beginning. He was like,
Hmm.
"No, we shouldn't do this
He
because
didn't want to be a part of it. That's
he
what
didn't
it
want to be a
was.
part of it. I don't
Yeah,
want to be a part of it. I've done
yeah.
war. I don't want to do it again." Is basically his
Hmm.
thing. He did not like himself when he
Yeah.
was in the French and Indian War. So much so that he never told his kids what happened.
Hmm.
And that was a product of, a lot of debate between him and Heath Ledger, who was his oldest son, which made for really good dialogue
Yeah.
in the movie. Um, so yeah, gosh, I'm at a 10 for the
I
ending.
agree.
I
I'm gonna
I,
say.
I thought it was amazing.
So you start running up a hill with the American flag, it's a 10.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll remember that with with one of the next ones that we're gonna do. Um, because I'm that way too. So let's talk about the story. This seemed more about the family than it did about
Hmm.
the Revolutionary War. So I'm gonna dock it a little bit for that.
Me too.
But I did think the story was solid.
I did too. I'm at a
Uh,
9.
I'm at an 8. So yeah, I am totally okay with that. I think the script is good here. Um, Again, I don't think it's great. It's not a 10 for the script.
Mhm.
But I think I'm at an 8 for the script as well.
I'll be happy with an 8.
I thought the cinematography was good.
Oh,
I love the
yes.
wide shots with the two armies
But
coming toward each
especially when
other.
they're talking, when they're
Yeah,
watching it themselves.
yeah.
Yeah. When you get the cannonball bouncing, taking off that
Oh,
dude's
that was
head,
so
taking
good.
his leg
Taking the
off.
dude's head off or taking the dude's
Yeah.
leg.
Hmm.
Because, cannonballs don't necessarily explode.
No.
They just, when they hit the ground with velocity, then there's
Yeah.
kind of an explosion or kind of a recoil. But a cannonball just goes through things.
Yeah.
And when the cannonball like fires and skips, you're like, oh crap, it's just gonna mow through people.
Yeah.
And they showed that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give props to the violence on this one.
Hmm.
Really, really good job with the special effects and stuff.
I don't want to give cinematography a 10.
No,
I'm gonna
me
go a
neither.
9.
I'm gonna go 9. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that. I thought it was really good, but yeah, it wasn't perfect.
No.
Um, and I'm gonna go 9 on the violence.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Hmm.
really good, particularly with the cannonballs
Yeah.
and
Even the
um,
hand-to-hand combat,
him,
I
with
dug.
the bayonets and stuff. I thought that
Yeah.
was really good too, and
Yeah.
the
But
sabers when they do
yeah,
the
when Mel Gibson goes ape shit with the after his kid is killed
Yeah.
at the beginning, and he goes
When he
ape shit
goes
with the
with his
axe.
axe and the knife, and he's all
Hmm.
just, it just,
Yeah.
oh no, when his kid gets captured and they're gonna hang him,
Oh yeah.
and just he just blood all over him because he is
Yeah.
just mowing through, and he has
Yeah.
his two younger sons firing at
Hmm.
British soldiers
Yeah.
and saying, "Okay, officers first," and then
And I like and go when you said earlier about the children acting. I thought this was their best spot. Is you
this
could
was their
see
best
the
spot.
look
The
on their
two
face.
younger boys, this was their
Yeah.
best spot.
Yeah. You could
Particularly
see it
the
in their face.
the younger of the two, and how he reacted to the father later, because he got a
Yes.
glimpse of who his
Yeah.
father was from the French and Indian War,
Hmm.
because he was um he was possessed. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna he was he was possessed because he just kept swinging at, and
Hmm.
it was, yeah, his
And to
son
me,
was
that
gonna,
felt real.
yeah, his
Because any
son was
father
gonna
would be that
die,
way.
and he was like, all right, we're gonna go,
Hmm.
grabbed a whole bunch of guns, okay, you two are coming with me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was another thing, who was the kid? There was a kid that I recognized. I mean, we're still at a 10, but the second oldest, the second oldest son, I recognized him.
I didn't recognize any of the kids.
Gregory Smith, is that who that was? Small Soldiers, Everwood, Hobo with a Shotgun. Okay. Yeah, a lot of
Hobo with a
TV shows.
shotgun.
That's where I probably recognize him. Anyway, but I recognize him, but he's a lot older now. I didn't recognize him. I know him in his 20s, and then, but he's like he's like 12 in this
Yeah, I
in
didn't
this movie,
recognize.
and I was like, but I recognized the eyes, and I was like, no, I know him from somewhere. Um, but it's not going to really count because I don't know him until later
Right.
on in life. But it was kind of cool. Like, oh no, I recognize that face. I just can't remember from where. Um, all right. So okay, now we were at 9 for the violence. I don't know why I didn't put that in there. Okay, what did you think about the war aspects? Again, I thought it was good. There was a little bit more focus on the family
Yeah. I'm
with,
about an 8.
and I think, yeah, I think that's a good score. I'm at an 8 as well. But I did like how they're, um because that was how the Americans won the Revolutionary War, was they changed tactics. They're like, we can't go toe to toe and just walk up
Right.
and fire back and forth because we don't have enough people. So we're going to be in the woods, and we're going to catch them when they go by, and we're gonna kill them that way. Because that was the way to do it. Um, it wasn't Mel Gibson's character that thought of that idea, for the Minuteman, but for the purpose of the movie, it was
Right.
it was kind of cool. Um, the intensity for this again ramps up
It does.
as Mel Gibson's character gets more involved with the war. Um,
Yeah.
and at first with his militia and doing their little thing, it reminded me of
Hmm.
Red Dawn,
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
to where they're doing these little skirmishes and taking on these little soldiers, and they're doing stuff,
Yeah.
and they were doing really well. But when they came into like real battle, the British general was like, "Oh, militia's just going to run away. They're just going to run off." And Mel Gibson's like, "Okay, we're going to use that and plan the strategy based on that." So I really like
Yeah.
that.
I
But
love that
like I
scene
said,
when they're
the
all retreating
they're all
towards
retreating
the end.
and suckered them right in.
Hmm.
Um, so, but that being said, I think I'm going to give it an 8 for
Yeah,
intensity.
I'm gonna go with an 8 too. Again, if you don't own this in 4K, pick it up. It looks great.
Really?
Another great Mel Gibson movie. You know who surprised me? Who directed this? The dude from Independence Day.
Yeah, it's Roland Emmerich. That surprised
Yeah,
me too. I was like, oh shit, it's a Roland Emmerich movie.
yeah. I think it's
Yeah,
his last good movie he made.
I
No,
know.
he did 2012.
Hey
Yeah,
now,
no,
you're close, but eh, no, I like 2012. I wasn't.
yeah, I don't mind 2012.
No, I enjoyed it. It took a couple of watches for me. The first time I was like, but then I got an understanding of John
I'm
Cusack's
not a fan
character.
of what's his face in that movie. Is it Matthew Broderick?
Is it
No, it's not
Matthew?
Matthew Broderick. It's John Cusack,
Yeah, John
right?
Cusack. He's the main guy.
John Cusack. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't like John Cusack.
I wasn't a fan of his character the first time, and I wasn't a fan of Woody Harrelson's character in that
Yeah,
either. I was
yeah,
like, I didn't see a point there except to like get
yeah,
the map to go to the thing. Um, you know, I liked the fat Russian dude in 2012.
yeah.
He was my favorite
Mm-hmm.
guy because he didn't care. He was just
No, we
like,
did not.
dude, I have a lot of money. I paid. I get on the boat. That's
Yeah,
all there is to it. Uh,
yeah,
you know, and the other Russian guy, Sasha, who flew the big giant plane.
yeah,
I liked him too. So those were my favorite characters. And the kids. This is one where I really like the kids. Um,
yeah, yeah. I need to upgrade that to 4K still.
yeah, I would get a 4K of that. All right, we got three more to do. Let's jump to the next one, and I'm gonna go with my old pick as far as older war, and we're gonna talk about Glory because
Oh, I love this movie. This
um,
movie is fantastic. I'm
when
glad you
when
picked it.
yeah, when someone says, what's your favorite war movie, I have one other one and this one are like my top two. And we haven't scored it yet, so I'm not gonna say it, but
Yeah, don't say it.
when we
Yeah,
get there, you'll know. um, but I love Glory,
me too.
and
It's been forever.
it's such a great story. Um, and this is 1989. This is not my oldest. Actually, Good Morning Vietnam was my oldest with 1987.
Okay, one
Um,
I've seen. No,
see, I told you, it's not going to be four in a row.
For acting, I recognize again Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington,
Right, for
Morgan
cast.
Freeman.
You got to
Yeah,
recognize
I
Carrie Elwes because you saw Princess Bride and you
yeah,
saw Saw,
that's
so
who that was.
you know
These
who
were
that
my
is.
yeah. And there was another soldier I recognized.
um,
So I'm at an 8 for uh, cast.
okay, yeah, I'm at a 10 because it's Matthew Broderick, Denzel Washington, Carrie Elwes, Morgan Freeman, Andre Brower, um, and then I recognize Cliff DeYoung by face and Richard Rail, which is the quartermaster. He's another guy that was in Cocoon, I think. Again by face. But yeah, I'm at a 10. So
Yeah,
I'm sorry, you said you were at an 8, right?
yeah, an 8.
Yeah.
Sorry, man, I keep getting the
Man, you
yawns.
keep yawning. Do you need a beer or something? Because
Did
that woke me up.
it?
I
I
was
don't know,
kind of
man.
drained after being
Well,
after going through all the technical issues. I was like, man.
last night I was exhausted. Um,
Well,
and
yeah,
also last night,
you were like up before 2 a.m. and we were doing the
yeah,
stream on Instagram last night. I'm like, dude, sign off because you were
yeah.
like,
And
I mean,
then
between
today,
you and Alex, I was like, man, I feel bad because it looks like you guys are about ready for bed.
and then this morning
And
I
I'm
woke
like,
up
I'm in
about.
California. I haven't even had dinner yet. So, um,
I woke up this morning about 4:30, 5 o'clock,
mhm,
panicked because I normally have to be at work at 3:30 in the morning,
mhm.
and I panicked thinking I was late for work. I hopped up. I was like, "Oh shit, I'm late for work," and I had this thing about being late. I always go to work early just so I'm not late. I'll sit in my
Yeah,
car. I don't care. Um, I threw some pants on. I was like, "Oh shit, it's Tuesday. I ain't gonna work on Tuesday." Went back to bed, and then my alarm goes off at like at 6. It's like, oh, because it's back to school day.
yeah.
So yeah,
Um, so getting back to Glory, I'm at a 10 for the acting on this.
yeah, number 11.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wish I could be an 11 for this one. This is Um,
The scene that carries this movie, there's one scene, and it's probably the iconic scene of it, is Denzel Washington getting beat um, by his soldier, his commander, whatever you want to call him.
being
Yeah,
whipped,
and he's sitting
and
there
you
and he
and you
just,
see the tear,
mm-hmm.
and he's just
Oh,
like, I'm not gonna, and he's just like he's quivering, and you see the one tear come down, and I was
yeah,
like, man,
yeah,
there's another scene that stands out, but that gets to the ending. So,
yeah.
um, but yeah, no, I totally agree. Um, but just the whole, gosh, the whole story behind this this regiment is
Mm-hmm.
amazing. So again, getting to the trailer on this.
That is a tear that won him the Oscar.
Mhm.
Oh, he's fantastic in this, man.
Yeah, he's so good. When people say, "What's your favorite Denzel movie?" This is the one I pick.
I can see
Every,
that now.
every day and twice on Sunday. Um,
Yeah,
because I know he's done a whole bunch of other movies. He was great in Remember the Titans. He was great in The Hurricane. I think he won an Oscar for The Hurricane too,
I
for
think
Best
he did.
Actor. Um, I loved him in Deja Vu. I
Oh
love
yeah, I forgot about that
Virtuosity.
one.
I there's I he's one of my favorites, bar
Yeah,
none of all time. Um, and I'd be hard pressed to I just barely he's number two, just barely below Tom Hanks for me as my favorite two actors. Um, but yeah, I don't think he's out of time. I don't. I have. I. I'm hard. It's hard for me to find a bad movie that he's done. Devil in a
I
Blue
can't think
Dress
of
was
one.
awesome. There are movies that I may not like that he's in, but not because of him. Um,
Right.
and it's
Loved
just
him in
because of
John
my
Q.
personal taste. But yeah, Two Guns with Mark Wahlberg. I loved that. I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was really good. But anyway, this is another one
Training Day.
where the
There you go.
trailer Training Day was amazing.
That's when he
Oh,
won
no
the
Oscar.
Oscar
Okay,
for.
he won for Training Day. Okay, he was nominated for the Hurricane, but he didn't win. Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, I think he got snubbed
Thank
on
you,
that
Dell.
one. Thanks, Dell. I really appreciate that. Um, but but yeah, this
And the
is this
trailers
is
are
one.
fantastic on this.
The trailer is fantastic. I'm at a 10 for the
Yeah.
trailer,
Yeah,
and
I'm at a
that's the
10
thing.
too.
There is there's no dialogue
No,
in the trailer. It's
you know.
music, it's scenes, and then it has just words for glory, for honor, forever.
Yeah.
It was something like that to where it was just words and then flash
Mm-hmm.
to scenes and then they show them running down the beach with the charge and I was like,
Yes.
yes. That's
Mm-hmm.
another one of the iconic scenes where it's just like
Yep.
it's so good. He should have won for Malcolm X. I absolutely agree for that.
Yeah.
Malcolm X, like I said, I could I could rattle off half a dozen movies where I think he should be. Um, hey, there's Mega Mike
Complete.
the Movie Man, my
Hey.
neighbor down the road.
Hey.
Um,
Thanks for
yeah, he
stopping
has
by.
he has a he
We
has a
have
YouTube channel as well. Um,
Turnerfan77.
Turnerfan77.
Yep.
Um, he does same type of stuff that I do. He does a great series with his daughter called What Am I Watching, Dad? That I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's fun to
Um,
do.
I have an executive producer credit on that.
He does.
But yeah, I love that where he watches movies with his daughter. He has you know has her watch movies that she normally wouldn't watch, and then sees if she
Yeah.
likes it. And I really I like the
It's fun.
I like the whole plot of that. It's really cool. I'm gonna give that a 10 for the plot.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of which, 10 for the plot. Ending is a 10
Yeah.
for Glory because anything where there's a person running with an American flag
Mm-hmm.
up a hill,
And
it's a
yeah.
10. And that's Denzel Washington, and that's the
Yeah.
iconic scene that I remember where the dude dies,
Yes.
that's the flag bearer, and he comes up and he grabs that flag, and he
Yep.
promised he would never do it. But at the end
Yeah.
of the movie, he grabs that flag and he tells everybody to come on, and he runs up that hill,
Yeah.
and
It's
then
fantastic.
It's so phenomenal. You're
Hmm.
like, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It was great seeing Captain America catch the hammer at the end of
yeah, that
Endgame.
doesn't even compare.
That has nothing. That's nothing compared
Mm-mm.
to the end of this.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if it was Denzel Washington catching the
Catching
hammer,
the hammer,
eh,
I'd be down for
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And he'd go, "Come on!"
right.
um, but yeah. So, and then there's one thing. I'm still at a 10 for the ending, but there's one thing that I did not like. It made me angry at the end of the movie. I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil it.
Right.
Um, but it is based in fact, and this comes into the story. And I'm at a 10 as well for the story on this because this is how it actually happened.
Yeah.
Um, God, I don't know how to say it without actually saying it.
Are you
So I
talking
don't.
about the trenches at the end? What's
Um,
gets put?
no, I'm just gonna say it. It's 1989. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm gonna spoil the ending because I want you to go see it. I want you to grab that movie and love it like it was your own. Um, but they never took the fort.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The 54th, that regiment, they got the furthest in the fort that anybody else did. Any other regiment did. But again, just like how the British soldiers were trapped, they set a trap and they put the cannons inside the fort. So the soldiers got through whoever was left, and they were running through the perimeter of the fort, and they got in, and you see Carrie Elways with his because Matthew Broderick was already dead,
Mm-hmm.
so Carrie Elways was the commander, and he points his saber down, and there's like 10 cannons pointed right
Yep.
up at him, and took them all out, and it was over, and they just blanked it off, and then they show
Mm-hmm.
it in, and then there's just they just show the fort in the distance with the beach, and then the Confederate flag comes up.
Yeah.
And then they show it in words that the fort was never taken.
Yeah.
And I was like, son of a bitch! They never took the fort. I was so mad,
Yeah.
but it couldn't have ended differently. They
No.
couldn't have. They no, because that's how it happened in history, and that's why I'm giving the story a 10 because they stayed true to the
Absolutely.
story
Yeah.
and did not stray from that, even though that's the typical Hollywood ending is, oh
Yeah.
my God, they win, they triumph, they took the fort. No, they never took the fort. But that made me so mad when I watched it. So I'm at a 10 for the story
Yeah. Me too.
because of that.
I was going to say 9, but with you explaining that, to me, it bumps up to a 10.
I swayed you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but dude, yeah, I was like, man. And I remember it was 1989, so I was in college and I was roommating with my best friend, and we watched that movie together. We both went, son of a bitch, really loud. And I think the police got called on us because we were just yelling and screaming, and they thought that we were beating the shit out of each other, and we were just mad because the movie ended differently than we wanted.
It was a fantastic film. Again, like I said, I'm glad you picked it because it's been 15 years, if not longer, since
Yeah,
I've seen this movie.
so good. Um, so the script on this,
I'm at a
and
9.
I think I'm at a 9 too. I
Yeah.
I'm like I want to give it a 10, and I think it could be a 10, but there's some dialogue issues that I
Yeah.
was
I
like,
think I'm going to say it. It has to do with the British side for me.
you mean the Confederate side? Because this is Civil
Yeah, it's
War.
British. Yeah, I'm sorry, Confederate.
You're
Yeah.
back on the
Yeah, I'm
Patriot.
sorry,
But
man.
yeah, they didn't this really focused on this regiment.
Hmm.
And I had the same issue uh with the other Union soldiers because aside from them bad mouthing the 54th, bad mouthing this regiment, you don't and then the one thing when they volunteer to go first to attack this fort, that's when everybody respects them.
Yeah.
And
There's
you
one
know,
more scene in there I want to talk about.
yeah,
It's shortly after it starts. They're walking. I think they're walking in a town
hmm
or somewhere, and one of the commanding chief commanders, I don't know what the title is of him, he's being super mean and disrespectful
hmm
to the black guys.
hmm
And Matthew Broderick's like, hey, come here,
yeah,
and like scolds him. I was
yeah,
like, and I'm not a Matthew Broderick fan at all. But right then and there, I was like, holy man, he like for a split second won me over
yeah,
in that scene. I was like, oh, I loved that. It was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
hmm
It wasn't like it was just a short, small scene,
hmm
but it showed like he wasn't going to tolerate that BS.
yeah, because they're soldiers. You don't get to
Yeah,
treat them. You don't get to treat
yeah.
them
He
any
said like,
differently.
yeah, train him like you would know or something like that.
Yeah, you train them like they're
Mm-hmm.
soldiers, not like they're slaves. Is basically what he
Yeah.
said.
Oh, I
Um,
love that scene.
yeah, and he was like,
Yeah.
I'll whip you right here in front of everybody because you don't talk to my men like that. And yeah,
Yeah.
he stuck up for him, and this whole thing was his idea, his
Mm-hmm.
character's idea was to have
Yeah.
this regiment of freed slaves who, like they had in Patriot, which you got a little bit of because there was
Mm-hmm.
still slavery then. If you served a year in the Revolutionary
Mm-hmm.
War, you were free.
Yeah.
And even though he was free, the guy in the Patriot, the one
Mm-hmm.
token African American, the one token African that was in there, who fought alongside of him because the dude was like, "Oh no, I'm too old and frail, but you can have my slave."
Yeah. Right.
And the guy's like, and he's like, he's not smart, but he can do the job. He's really strong. And the guy's like, okay, I
Yeah.
guess I'll do it.
And then
And then
he told him it's been a year, you can go, and he's like,
yeah, he was
no.
like, it's been a year. He goes, no, I'm here on my own accord.
Yeah. And
And
then you
he
knew he.
and the yeah, the one dude that like gave him crap through the whole movie. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, he saved his life because he got shot in the
Yep.
back, and then um, they're standing there next to each other, and he goes, "I'm honored to have known you."
Yes. Oh, I
Dude,
love that too.
yeah,
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really good. And you almost get that in Glory, but I think it was forced.
Yeah.
And that was when they were getting ready. They're walking to go into battle, and one soldier goes, "Give him hell, 54th," and that's it.
Yeah.
And everybody goes cheer, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yay, great, they're going to death because they
Yeah.
volunteered to go first. Oh, you guys are great because you're going first. Go get them. um I
That's
was
funny.
like fuck you guys.
Yeah.
You go first. um so cinematography on this I think is
I
really good.
loved it.
I love the
Yeah.
beach scene.
I know.
um
Yeah.
I'm gonna match the Patriot. I'm gonna go 9.
Yeah. Me too. And again, I don't want to spoil it, but at the end, I know something about that trench when that
Where they're
shot. No, I'm talking about the end when they're dead.
Oh, where they're and then they just kind of throw Matthew Broderick's dead body on top of him, and he
Yeah.
lands on top of
Yeah.
Denzel's dead body.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
that
and they
shot.
did
I
that in
love that
slow
shot.
motion. That whole shot was really cool. Yeah, I agree
Yeah.
with that.
I like that.
But I liked the that tunnel when they were going through the fort
Mm-hmm.
at the end, right before they
Yeah.
all died from the cannons. They're like, he's like, they're running through the fort, and you have the camera in front of them going backwards, and they're like weaving in and around
Yeah.
through the fort, and I thought that was a really cool shot.
Yeah.
So yeah, down for a 9 on that.
Yeah. Definitely.
what
Again,
what about the
another great pick.
violence? What about the
I
violence on
think the
this?
violence is there. Not only in the war, but towards with the slaves, the former
Yeah,
slaves, or whatever you
yeah,
want to call them.
yeah,
I'm gonna go with 9
yeah.
on this.
No, I'm down for that. And for a war movie, the war aspects, this is going to be my 10.
Mm-hmm.
I know Hacksaw Ridge I gave a 10 too, but this is a 10 for me also because of how well
Both of
they
them so good.
played this about the Civil War.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
It was absolutely fantastic. Um, and then the intensity.
I'm about a 7 on that.
I'm at an 8 because
Uh,
I'm dropping a little bit because again the intensity builds a little bit and it didn't really get fully intense until like the very end when they're going to take the fort.
yeah,
That was where it got really intense. Yeah, that's the only one where we had a different score.
oh really?
except for the cast. That was the only one where we had a different score.
Yeah, it's just a damn good movie.
Nice. All right, let's do your last movie and let's do my last movie, and they're good ones. So from 2017, your final movie is Dunkirk.
Yeah,
This was my pick of 2017 as my favorite movie of the year.
I just
It
saw it
was
for the first
it was
time.
right there. It was this and Logan were like right there for me.
I just saw this for the first time this year.
Hmm.
I had the 4K for like 2 years now, or maybe a little over a year, and I bought it because I only paid like $2 from Family Video for it,
Hmm.
4K, and I was like, I'll watch it eventually. But damn, I love this movie.
Hmm.
Didn't think I was going
I
to.
have I have not seen I've not watched my 4K yet,
Oh, it's great transfer, dude.
but
It's a really good
but the
transfer.
Blu-ray is fabulous. I loved
Yeah,
this movie. Um,
yeah, it is, though. Yeah,
yep.
and then
See,
what
there's another
sucks
one.
is the cast is gonna hurt
The
scoring.
cast is gonna hurt. Aside from really
Yeah.
Harry Styles, I
I didn't
I
even
don't.
know that was Harry Styles because I didn't
Yeah.
know who. I don't know um, Tom
If it
Hardy.
was if it wasn't for my if it wasn't for my daughter, I wouldn't have known that was Harry Styles.
I
Oh, Mark Rylance is in the movie, so
know who that is.
so that's one he did, and Tom Hardy is in the movie. He's the one on the plane.
Clay, yeah,
Yeah. So
that's the only one I recognize.
um 246. So I'm at a 6 for the cast.
At it too.
Oh.
Yeah, because Harry Styles is not in my circle, so
Yeah.
I didn't know. I
No,
know
if
he
it
was
wasn't
in
for if it wasn't
Eternals.
for my daughter, she was like she was like, "Is this the one Harry Styles is in?" I'm like, "Okay, show me Harry Styles." So she's like, "Oh, that guy," and I'm like, "Okay, yes, that's Harry Styles. He's in the movie." So, but yeah, Um, Tom Hardy was interesting in this, and this is gonna go right into the acting because he's by himself on the plane, so
Yeah,
he kind of has like a movie to himself
yeah,
to where he's flying the plane doing something.
hmm
There's like a few different things going on at the same time
yeah.
in this movie, and I really liked it. And if I'm, am I think Kenneth Branagh's in this movie.
Oh, I don't know.
He's not in the main cast, but I'm sure I remember him. Yep, Kenneth Branagh's in this movie. Okay, so I'm at
I
an
didn't
8.
even recognize. I'm
Um,
still at it too.
that's the dude from Murder on the Orient Express. He directed the first two Thor movies. Um, so yeah, you're
Down.
2 on 8, so 5. That gives it a little bit more oomph.
Yeah,
Um, I think the acting is really good here.
dude, this is strong acting. I'm
Strong
a
acting.
9 for it.
I'm at a 10 for the acting.
Yeah,
I think it was really good considering the cast that we don't really
yeah.
recognize. I gotta throw a high acting score on it. This is the trailer that
Oh, it's terrible.
tanks that
Yeah,
tanks. I'm gonna go 6
I'm gonna
on the
go a 5
yeah, and I can
because
see
I
that.
had no desire. I would have never
I
seen
watched
this
the trailer
movie.
and I'm
Like, what the fuck?
really,
Yeah,
really,
yeah. I have
really,
no desire to see this.
yeah,
If I wouldn't have got the 4K for $2, I would have never watched this movie.
yeah. But yeah, like I said, if it wasn't for my daughter pointing it out, I was like, and now I'm like, Harry Styles. um, so I think the ending's really good here.
I did too. I'm at a 9.
I
Uh oh,
don't
you're
know.
contemplating.
I don't know. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 9. I want to
Because
go
it's not a
10.
Hacksaw Ridge ending.
No, I want to go 10, but
Yeah,
but I and then again that in the story's really good.
it is.
And it tells different stories. So yeah, I'm at a 10 for the story because it tells a
I
whole bunch of different
100% agree
things.
with that.
Some people may not like that because it was I don't want to call it an anthology, but it was kind of like that to where it
Oh,
was
that's a good way to look at it.
yeah,
Because
to where it
you
was
do all right.
telling it
Yeah,
from different places, but it's all kind of happening at the same time.
yeah.
So it
I like
reminded me
that.
of an anthology, like,
Yeah.
and I was kind of afraid to use that term, but I'm glad you
No, no, no,
agreed.
no. That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go 10 for the script. I think the script is
Mm-hmm.
amazing on this.
Yeah.
And this is another one where I'm gonna go a 10 on the cinematography because
Oh, it's beautiful. I think
this is
this
one
is
where I'd
probably the
go an
best.
11. This is probably the
Yeah,
best
the best.
cinematography
Yeah,
of the entire group. Um,
100% agree.
I mean, I know we gave two, but there's a few they're deserving of 10s. Um, I think the next one is deserving of a 10 too, but um, X-Train. Um, this is and this one's right on time, 9 o'clock for
Yeah.
me. Um, so yeah, cinematography. God, yeah, it
Yeah.
was so beautifully filmed. Um, and you almost you almost have to give the violence a 10 because it's all over the place. There's
It
violence
is.
everywhere with the boat sinking and the
There
plane and
was.
there's all the
Yeah.
the dock exploding
Mm-hmm.
and that was awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, it's told so many different
I think
places.
that's
It
what
was
makes it
really
work.
yeah. I was like, best part of the script is there's too much of it. There isn't too much of it. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Action and other
Yeah.
visuals tell more of the story. I totally agree with that. It's not
Yeah.
full of dialogue. You
And it's
know
not. You don't
you
have to
know what's
think
going on.
about it. Being a
Yeah,
Nolan movie.
you know what's going on. And for it being like an anthology to where there's so many different stories
Mm-hmm.
happening, for it to be tight enough with the script to where you can follow all of it. I was really impressed with Nolan's job on
Yeah.
this. Um, and then, boy, I think I'm gonna throw another 10 at the war aspects of this because I
Oh,
really
hands down, yes.
hands down was like
Yes.
really good. Again, this is one of the best war movies of this group.
Yeah. I agree.
Not the best war movie in my opinion, but it's definitely deserving of a 10.
Yeah.
And then the intensity, and I thought the intensity was good here too
Yeah.
because
I'm at an 8.
you had I think eight's good. Eight's a good score,
Yeah.
bro. I'm agreeing with that. I liked there were different levels of intensity here that I really
Yeah.
liked. It wasn't like start slow and build and build and build and build and then climax like with
One of my
Glory or
favorite
something like that.
is when they're trying to get on the boat.
Yeah,
Yeah. They're trying to sneak on.
yeah,
Yeah. They're trying to sneak on or trying to sneak up. They're trying to get the people on the boat. That's what
yeah,
it was.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I dug that a lot.
yeah. I mean, my most intense moment was when the boat was sinking and people were trapped
Yeah.
in the boat, and they were like, and you could see that, and it was like
Mm-hmm.
That was intense for me. I felt that. Um, so yeah, eight's perfect, bro. I think that's
Yeah.
a great way to sum that up.
Again, when you have a chance, watch that 4K because it is fantastic.
I really thought that would be a higher score, but I think the
The
cast
cast,
and the trailer hurts it.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, because I know I gave it a better score than that, but I have I've definitely three more points in the cast
I only
and
recognize Tom Hardy.
one
I
more
didn't.
point. So
I mean, I heard the hairstyle's name, but I can't pick him out
yeah,
from.
but yeah, my like I said, my daughter pointed it out to me before we watched the movie, and she was like, "Is that the one with Harry Styles?" And I said, "Show me Harry Styles," and then she showed me a picture of Harry Styles from um, One Direction. I think was the band that he was in. Um, I always get One Direction and One Republic mixed up, but I think it's One Direction. Um,
Is it Run Republic a rock band or some shit?
yeah, but they both start with one, and
Oh yeah.
I always mix that up. I always get Little Wayne and Little John mixed up too, so it's not. It's because of the first thing. I just kind of like, oh, he was in One Republic, and
hmm
she goes, no, it's One Direction, and I'm like, oh, okay. Um, so all right, one last movie to do, and I, I could not. This is my favorite war movie of all time, so I had to put it in here. It's from 1998, and it is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, so good.
And I'm just gonna say it's Spielberg, bro. So,
Yeah. And the
um,
4K again is fantastic on this.
the 4K is fantastic on this.
hmm
Um,
That opening beach scene. Oh my gosh.
and I'm gonna
Just
grab it because I have the 4K Steelbook.
see, that's the
Um,
exact same steelbook for the Blu-ray too.
yeah, it is, but
That's the one
yeah,
I
I
have.
don't have and it's just basic cover art, basic disc art.
I hate that
Um,
black disc art.
yeah,
Oh, it
me
drives me
too. It's just
nuts.
kind of
hmm
um, I hate that, and I hate the two-tone disc art where it's like blue on the bottom and silver on the top, and you're like, spend some
I
time
agree
working on
though.
that, dude. I understand like Kino Lorber wants to have the same like black matte
hmm
disc art on all their discs, and the same thing with their spine. It has to be the same font, same thing. I get that. It saves money on the movies. I'm totally cool with that. But, if you're going to make me spend that money on the 4K, put some effort into it, Paramount. Come on.
Yes.
um,
It drives me nuts when there's no disc art.
yeah. So, um, talking about the cast, I'm at a 10 for this cast.
Me too. Yeah, this is the one when I was going through the movies. I was like, okay, there's just a lot of people in here.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
dude, you got, Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore, Edward Burns, Barry Pepper, Adam
yeah,
Goldberg, Giovanni
Vin
Ribisi, Vin
Diesel.
Diesel, Jeremy Davies. Here he is.
Yeah,
Ted Danson, Paul
yeah,
Giamatti, Dennis Farina,
yeah.
and I think I'm about done at that point. But yeah, I'm at like 50 for the cast. So,
This
um,
is great cast up and down.
so good. Um,
hmm
and I'm gonna pull in, Dell's like SPR, still the best war scenes ever. Um, and yeah, just got the 4K a few weeks back, but haven't watched it on that format. Dude, watch it.
Yeah.
Dude, watch it. Turn your speakers up.
Oh man, your house will be rattling.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah,
Um, and I gotta say, acting, I'm at a 10 on this as well
yeah.
because everybody did good. Tom Sizemore knocked it out of the park for me. I thought he was
Yeah.
brilliant in this movie. I
And
expected
it's
Matt Damon to be
shocking
good.
because I don't like him.
I don't like Tom Sizemore. I don't like him as a person, but he was
Yeah,
brilliant in this movie.
yeah, he was.
Um,
But then Tom
but
Hanks is
I
Tom
thought they
Hanks.
all did a good job. Tom Hanks was
Yeah,
good. I expect him to be good. Matt Damon was good. I expect him to be good. Tom Sizemore, I didn't expect to even remember him. Edward Burns,
Right?
I didn't expect to
Yeah.
remember him. He did a great job. So yeah, I think across the board, Spielberg really knew how to bring that out of him. Um, and again, this is another one. The trailer on this is so good.
Yeah.
This is they don't do trailers like this anymore, and it was
No,
just
I mean that's sad too.
it was so good. So yeah,
I got 10.
I don't know how we could not beat a 10 for that.
Yeah.
I am gonna throw down the ending just a little bit because the ending, although good, it was more about the journey. The whole thing
Yeah.
about going to get him and get him out. But then it was just kind of like, okay, we're good.
Hmm.
We're all gonna go home now. So the ending isn't it's just it's the ending. It was just like, okay, we got the closure. It
Right.
was done. Good job. Everybody wrapped. So I'm actually at a 7 for the ending.
Yeah. I was gonna go a little bit higher. I was gonna go an 8.
Okay. Um, and for the story, I'm going to go a 9.
Me too.
I thought,
I'll
I
go
thought the
9.
story was really good, not perfect. Like I said, the ones that are 10s were Dunkirk and Hacksaw Ridge, and they deserve the 10s.
Yeah.
And Glory is the other one. They deserve the 10s, absolutely. But a 9 for Private Ryan, I'm not all broken up about that.
Yeah.
I think the script here is really good. Again, I'm going to throw a 9 at
Mhm.
it.
Yeah. I'll be happy with a 9.
Um, and I'm going to put a 10 on the cinematography because Spielberg's
Oh,
just
so beautiful.
so good. And
Yeah.
uh, and
It's gritty too.
I'm gonna
That's what I like
go
when they're in the buildings.
I'm gonna go with the um, with what Dell said. It has some of the best war scenes ever, and absolutely
Yeah.
does. I felt like that was a real war going on during
Yes.
that movie. And this is going to bring me to the violence. If I could give this an 11 for violence, I would.
Yes.
The whole
15
beach
easily.
scene at Normandy
Yeah.
was epic. You saw body parts get blown off, you saw
Mm-hmm.
people get cut in half, getting like drowned under the boat. That was
Yep.
it was just that opening scene by itself is a 10. And then the violence kept going. So so yeah, tens, 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 and I'm hmm the war aspect.
um, 10.
Yeah, I can't see why I wouldn't
There's
give it a
no
10. The only thing was that the whole thing was about them going and getting um,
Ryan.
Private Ryan and bringing him home. But that was because during World War II, you weren't, mothers weren't allowed to have to bury all their sons.
Yeah.
If there was only one son, that son went home. If there was only one son, that son did not get drafted. That's how they did it because they
Yeah.
wanted the family name to be able to carry on. In Vietnam, they didn't care about that.
They drafted everybody.
They drafted everybody. Um, and I really like the intensity here.
I do too.
Um,
This,
I
this movie's almost perfect.
this is yeah this is the and this is the most perfect war movie
Yeah.
I think ever. Um,
I agree with you on that.
I mean, like Hacksaw Ridge being really close
Mm-hmm.
because I really love Hacksaw Ridge and how it was done. So are we at a 10 for intensity?
Yes.
Yeah, I
I
think I think so too. Um, because it does it twice. There's intensity getting to Private Ryan, and then there's an intensity getting him out.
yeah.
So it's like two movies. So it
Mm-hmm.
like you think, oh my God, he made it to Private Ryan. We're done. No, that's only halfway. Now we got to get out, and then and
And I
that's
like
when
that.
and that's when the team started dying. in the, and then you're
Hmm.
like, oh crap, shit's happening. We're gonna lose the guy, and that's where I like that because it like,
Me too.
okay, I got a false sense of security, and now the real shit's gonna happen because now we got to get back out, and all our only job is to make sure he doesn't die.
Yeah.
That's our only job, and we get the hell out. So yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah. Uh. Okay. My friend, you have to decide between Lone Survivor and Fury. They both tied.
Oh shit. I am going to go with Lone Survivor.
Okay. I had a tie as well, but
What
I'm
were they?
not. Uh, I'll tell you in a second because that was. I think that would spoil the ending.
Oh,
Um.
okay. Yeah. These were all good movies. I mean,
4, 5,
outside of Good Morning Vietnam, I enjoyed all these movies.
6. Yeah. Sorry. uh, Oddly enough, Good Morning Vietnam is not in last place. So.
Well, I mean, because I score. I mean, there's stuff in it that's good about. The acting was good. Um,
Aw,
yeah.
little my pencil broke. Yeah. I agree with that. I thought because I was like there are things that make me made me want to take a different look at it, and that's why that's part of the reason why I wanted to have this in here was so we can take and look at it from a war standpoint, even though it's a
Hmm.
comedy. Look at it from a war standpoint and how that was done, its basis in fact, and things like that. So that those people who don't like war movies, but like Robin Williams or something like that, they might be interested in watching this. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm yeah totally good with that. So 4 points for that, 5 points for that.
Where's your daughter?
Um,
She needs to say her math.
she needs to say yeah math. No, she's. I'm sure she's sleeping because they had a big day today. I'm pretty sure they're out. Um, wait, not 5. So yeah, 6, 7. That's right. 8.
I've already
And
started on next week's show.
yeah, me too. All right. Um, I am ready for the scores. So at number 10, our lowest ranked is American Sniper with 75.
Ooh, I didn't expect that.
This is we're kind of all over the place with the scores.
Yeah.
There's like a good 20 points difference between first and last.
Oh
Um,
wow.
at number 9 is Rescue Dawn with a 77. At number 8 is Good Morning Vietnam with 70. Oops, yeah. No, I'm sorry. Reverse that. Number 9 is Good Morning Vietnam with a 76. My bad. And at number 8 is Rescue Dawn with a 77. Flip that. Um, at number 7 is Fury with an 83. Number 6 is Lone Survivor with an 83. Those two tied. Number 5 is Dunkirk with an 87.
I've seen Flags of Our Fathers.
I've seen both of those,
Yeah, I
and
think I seen
Letters
letters
from
from.
Iwo Jima is better.
Yeah,
I loved Letters from Iwo Jima,
who
but
directed those?
those are
Was
Clint
it Mel
Eastwood, I think.
Gibson?
Those are Clint
Oh,
Eastwood, I
Clint
think.
Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um. So yeah, Dunkirk was 5 with an 87. The Patriot was number 4 with a 90.
Ooh, if that's number four with a 90.
That was number 4 with a 90. Like I said, we're kind of all over the map.
Yeah.
At number 3 with a 94 is Glory.
Oh, nice.
At number 2, and this was my decision because I had a tie for first place. At number 2 is Hacksaw Ridge with a 96. And at number 1, also with a 96, is Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, wow. Two great films. Both deserve to be in one and two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. And I can honestly say I would never change my mind on that. I loved both movies. I will watch both movies all the time. But if you put me on the spot, I would pick Saving Private Ryan over Hacksaw Ridge.
I would have to
Nine
agree with you.
nine times out of 10. Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
I thought Letters from Iwo Jima was so good.
Yeah.
And
It's been a while since I've seen them.
I think probably because I didn't know about the Japanese aspect. Cause and that's what that is. It's Flags of Our Fathers and
Hmm.
Letters from Iwo Jima are the same thing told from two different sides. And
Yeah. It's been forever since I've seen those.
but yeah, it did those did not pop into my mind, but Letters from Iwo
Yeah, me
Jima, that
neither.
would definitely be an honorable mention for me.
Yeah, good calls, though.
Yeah, those are really good calls. Your and I want to go back to because we get our alternates, but we never really talk about them.
No.
And I want to make sure I get this right. Your alternates were for Full Metal Jacket and Apocalypse Now,
Yeah.
which are kind of the, you know, um, I think those are kind of the gold standard for war
Yeah.
movies. Maybe Saving Private Ryan would be in that mix, but I think,
Honestly, I think Saving Private Ryan is a better film than either one of those two
oh
movies.
yeah, I absolutely I agree. I am
Yeah.
actually not a fan of Apocalypse Now. I didn't I didn't care
Right.
for it.
I think you did
Um,
say that to me.
yeah, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I won't buy the 4K of that because I won't watch that movie again. I thought it was really well acted, okay, but I'd watch Platoon before I'd watch Apocalypse Now again. But
That's been forever since I've seen that one
m-
too.
my alternates were Heartbreak Ridge with Clint Eastwood and Wind Talkers.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. The
And
Code Breakers.
I love Wind Talkers with Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage,
that's a good
Christian
movie.
Slater, where they do the whole Navajo thing. And again,
Hmm.
it's kind of a different aspect. It's something about the war that you
Yeah.
normally don't know about.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of like that. Give me a change of pace. Give me something that surprises me. And then Heartbreak Ridge, it's Clint Eastwood. I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not, but Heartbreak Ridge is about Grenada. So I was like, okay, that's not really a war. I mean, they called it the war in Grenada, but it was 2 days. The war
Right.
lasted 2 days, and then they went surfing for 2 weeks. And they actually said that um, in the movie. It was 2 days of fighting and 12 days of surf. Um, but and then they do the whole basic training and things like that. But like you said, military people die, military action.
Yeah.
So I'm down for calling that a war movie. But it is one of my favorites. I really like it. Um,
It's good.
and I definitely wanted to mention that. But I think Dollars to No Nuts it probably would have gotten one of, if not the lowest score of the. of- if we were to score those, I think Wind Talkers would be pretty good.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
but
good movie though.
I really liked Wind Talkers. I, I would say probably low 80s.
The thing
But
about war movies,
yeah, I would think that I would think that Heartbreak Ridge would probably be low 70s. Uh,
yeah,
but
the thing
anyway,
I like about war movies is for a personal reason. Um, is that I watched a lot of war movies with my dad. You
yeah,
know, because everybody's dad likes war movies. You know.
it's funny. My dad didn't. My dad likes
Oh
westerns.
really?
It was westerns for him.
Oh my dad it was westerns and
Yeah,
um,
it was westerns, westerns,
war
westerns.
movies.
It
Oh,
still is.
he's a huge John Wayne fan.
Yeah. Oh, my dad is too.
Yeah,
My dad is a huge
yeah.
John Wayne fan. Um,
I can't stand
Gene
John.
Gene
I can't stand.
Autry. I mean all those guys. And
Yeah.
I recently I bought him the entire series of Have Gun Will Travel.
Oh, nice.
Um, so he loves that. But
That's
like
cool.
their series on Netflix like Longmire.
Hmm.
He loves that show. My stepmom especially, she absolutely loves that show. Um, she will never stop watching it. She just keep back on loop. She watches all the way through the end, then starts it over again. She just keeps watching it, and she even tells him, "Hey, put in Longmire for me." And he's like, "Okay." So he puts Longmire on for her. But yeah, Heartbreak Ridge is goofy fun, but not a great movie. No, not a great movie. It's just like I said, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. But yeah, like I said, it would probably get the lowest score of
Yeah.
our group, but I like it. I love it. But yeah, I mean Mario Van Peebles, come on, he's not a good actor.
No.
Um, but
It's funny. My, I think I told you my dad suffers from dementia,
yeah, my stepmother
and
too.
he this a couple of days. This was last week, I think. I call to check on him, and he's like, "Son, have you seen this new movie called Rambo?" I was like, "Yeah, Dad, we saw that when I was a kid." And, and he's like, "Oh, I thought it was new. I don't ever remember seeing it." So it's funny to listen to him because all he does, I take him out to places, take him out to eat and stuff, and um, but he doesn't get to do a whole lot, you know.
Yeah,
And now he's rediscovered. I'm not laughing at his situation, but it's kind of funny hearing him
it's kind of
rediscover
funny.
the
He's rediscovering this stuff.
discovering.
What he believes for the first time.
Yes.
And it's kind
Yeah.
of like, well, and it's kind of like full circle, right? Because
Yeah.
you remember when your dad introduced you to this
Mm-hmm.
stuff for the first time.
Mm. Yeah.
So now you're taking him to do the same thing, and you're like introducing him or reintroducing him to
Yeah.
stuff for the first time. I get that. I think I
Yeah.
I'd get a kick out of it. It's not that I agree that you're not laughing about it. You get a kick out of it because like it's kind of funny because we're the
Yeah.
shoes on the other foot, and now I'm taking my dad and I'm showing him these new things that are not really new, but they're new to him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Have you seen the
yeah,
movie The
my
Father?
stepmom just doesn't know who I am, so that
Uh,
doesn't work. She just has no idea
right.
who I am. But she didn't really acknowledge me when she did have all her brains. So,
Right.
um, and it's okay. It's fine. I feel for her. She's in hospice now, and
Oh, yeah.
um, but it's actually better for my dad because it was got pretty bad.
It's a tough disease, man.
It's tough. It's tough to deal with because my
Yeah.
my grandmother went through it, and I took care of her. I helped my uncle take care of her, and now my stepmother. So it's just it's a hard thing to deal with.
It is.
Watching your loved one deteriorate like that, and
Have you
it's
seen The Father?
yes,
Oh, man, that movie hit home.
yeah,
So I mean, it's a fantastic movie,
yeah, and
and I just
there's
that movie
there's a
hit
few
home.
movies that are like that. Like the one that popped into my head was The Judge with Robert Duvall and Robert Downey
Mm-hmm.
Jr. It's kind of like that as
That's
well.
fantastic.
It's
Yeah.
it's a great movie and it's along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's sad when
It is.
when it gets to that point. It's cute when it's when it doesn't get that serious, but there's still memory issues.
Yeah.
I remember one instance where with my grandmother where I'm making dinner because she can't cook anymore, so I'm making dinner, and she decides she wants to make tea, but it never happened. I ended up having to do it, but she walked into the kitchen and she goes, "When did you get this mustache?" And she touches my lip, and I go, "I've had this mustache for a long time, Grandma." And she goes, "Well, you're only 17 years old."
Right.
And I go, "Grandma, I'm 35." And she started crying, and I was like, "Oh no!" She goes, "Oh my God!" She goes, "I haven't been there for your life. I wasn't there for you," and she felt really bad. And I'm like, "Oh no, you were there for my life. You're just not here now.
Right.
Don't you worry. You did everything you could when I was 17. You were definitely a big part of my life. You just don't
Well,
remember
thanks,
that."
Dell. Um, he says, wish you both strength dealing with your situations. Got to turn in.
Have a good
Have a
night.
great night. Dude,
Thanks,
Dell,
Dell. Have a good
you're
night, brother.
so
I really
kind, man.
appreciate. Yeah, Dell's
Yeah.
awesome.
He
I I
he
I
really is.
I like Dell, and it's funny because I was like, wait, I know Dell from Twitter. We've been friends on Twitter for
Mm,
years. and,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden we found each other on Instagram and YouTube, and
Yeah.
um so it was really awesome. I'm like, hey, I know you. We follow each other
Yeah.
on Twitter. We talk all the time. Um and so
That's what I
yeah,
love movies. This community, man.
yeah.
The way
I
people connect.
I like it too. I mean, there's a few bad apples, but there always are.
Yeah. We
Um,
just tune those guys out.
we just
So.
tune. I I don't. I shine them on. I'm like, oh yeah, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, go ahead. You be you. But I like there are those people that I trust
Mm-hmm.
with like yourself. I told my wife and my daughter this the other day. I was like, you're my best friend on this community, and
Oh, that
we've
makes a
never
lot.
met
Same with
face to
you, man.
face.
No.
But it's like I just like I feel like I've known you for 30 years.
Right. And this is the real connection.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's
fun.
it's
I'm,
it's just it's really funny, but it's just one of those things. I mean, man, I tell you, if we ever met face to face, I just run up and hug you because I was like,
yeah,
dude,
dude.
totally.
Yeah.
And Alex too. Alex is another one. He's
Oh, I
one of my
love
best
Alex and
friends.
Nate
Alex,
both.
Alex, so good. And Alex and I have similar dealings with his kids and my granddaughter,
Mm-hmm.
to where we have a camaraderie there with our personal life. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But yeah, Nate and we always talk about Jerry. Jerry's cool,
Yeah.
and um, Adam. I kind of love Adam.
Yeah.
Adam's
We need to get
Adam's
him back
amazing.
on Monday nights.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
yeah. Need to just kind of hit him up
Yeah,
and
I will.
see if he wants to jump back on. We got to talk about Monday night, but I think we can get
Yeah.
out of here. That was
Yeah,
good
let's do
job.
that.
So our score is 32 to 23. I went out total over the war movies, but I had one, two, and three.
Yeah.
So that's usually how that happens. But this was awesome.
It
So
was.
um, let's see, coming up. So next Monday, I don't know what our theme's going to be, but
Yeah.
we'll have an Instagram live stream at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Central, 10 Eastern, and then on Tuesday we're going to do our end of month, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So not found footage movies. We were going to do our top 10 found footage movies. Thanks, Movie Hunter.
Thanks, Movie Hunter,
Another
man.
one, really good friend.
Yeah.
Um, I'm totally jealous of his collection, uh, but yeah, really good friend on here. Yeah, I can't say a bad thing about almost anybody. Like I said, there's a couple where I'm like, I'd be fine not ever talking to that person again. But
yeah.
I'm not gonna, unless that person absolutely rubs me the wrong way and I have to block them.
Yeah.
Um, I will still be professional and I will still treat people with respect because everybody should
Yeah.
be treated with respect. Just a little minnow, dude. You're a great white shark, bro. That's not
Yeah, you are, dude.
minnow. That's just what a shark would say.
Hmm.
I'm a little minnow. um, but uh, dude. Okay, so yeah, Tuesday we're gonna do our end of month take two. At 6 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully, no technical issues, but we don't have any trailers to watch. We're just gonna jump right into
Yeah,
the
jump
show.
right in.
So I think we'll be okay there. On Wednesday next week, I have a special episode of High Five where my guest will be Huck, the Huckster. Um,
That'll be a great episode.
Brian Huckaba will be on the show, and I'm really looking forward to that. I got his five picks, and we do a couple of rewatches, but nothing I haven't seen, and I own them all. So, but yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about some stuff. I'm going to ask him some questions. So hopefully you guys can tune in for that. That'll be 6 p.m. on Wednesday next week. That's the 31st. 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. Um, and I think that's it. So I think
Yeah,
we're pretty much done for this week.
yeah.
I don't think I have any more things coming up, but I will do some recordings. Um, Definitely, I have a town hall meeting to do because I have a couple of movies, and then I have some stuff coming in Thursday, so I'll put those together and do
Yeah.
a town hall and unboxing on Thursday.
I have an episode of. I'm thinking it's gonna drop. I'll drop it tomorrow. What am I watching, Dad? 13 going on 30,
Hmm.
and then I have Blu-ray, another Blu-ray collection
Nice,
video coming.
nice. Oh, I've got one more thing. I started a new segment, a new theme, a new series. Let's put it that way. I started a new series called Brews and Reviews, um, where I start a movie and I have six beers, much like these two that I finished while we were doing the show. Um, so I start a movie, I have six beers. Every time I run into a slow point or a point I don't like or something like that, I crack open a beer and I drink it. So how many beers I have left at the end of the movie is how many stars the movie gets, is basically the theme of the thing.
I seen
So
you posted your Jurassic one. I haven't watched it yet.
yeah. So Jurassic Park Dominion was or Jurassic World Dominion, and I messed that up because I drank a little too many beers. But um, but uh, but yeah, Jurassic World Dominion was my first installment. I have two more coming, but I don't want to look like an alcoholic, so I'm gonna wait a little bit and release them sporadically over the course. But yeah, I did Black Phone, and then I did a movie that I shouldn't have. But
Oh
um,
yeah, you told us about that last
I
night.
told I told you guys about that on the live stream
Yeah.
on Instagram. But yeah, we did I did Last Seen Alive was the movie with Gerard Butler and Jamie Alexander, and it wasn't bad. It was low budget. It's there the whole first half was a little hard to get through. So yeah, I was a few beers in. so so I'm having trouble editing that the final
That's funny.
of that because it's really funny. But I think it's actually going to play well. I just got to make sure I get rid of the lull points where I'm just kind of sitting there like lost for a second while I'm thinking because mm, yeah I'm generally a lightweight. So for me to have a maximum of six beers over the course of a movie, which let's say
Oh
two
damn.
hours, that's that's a bit for me. Um, but so I didn't quite get there, but it was enough to make me kind of rethink. Okay, I'm not gonna do movies that I don't expect to be good to begin with. I'm gonna stick to like the mainstream stuff, the stuff that I think I'm gonna like, and then kind
Yeah.
of go with that. Because yeah, I'm good. Like Black Phone. Black Phone turned out great. So
Oh, I
that'll
love
probably
that movie.
that'll probably come out this week. Because that wasn't so bad. That was actually better than Jurassic World. I drank
Oh
more
yeah, don't
beers than
take much
Jurassic
of
World.
Jurassic World.
Huh? No, it was but Jurassic World wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. There were
No,
so
I've
many
I've
negative.
seen it twice and I didn't like it.
I mean, I I didn't love it. It was definitely a miss, but and maybe it was the beers, but I liked parts of it. I liked the special effects, but it didn't feel Spielberg-y enough,
No.
so I really wanted that. But
Yeah.
you know, I didn't give it a bad score, but it's definitely the worst score of the entire and the worst movie of the entire franchise,
I agree with you
bar none.
100%.
I didn't think because I didn't care for Jurassic Park 3. I wasn't a big fan of that. Except for the huge pile of shit with the phone in it. That cracked me up.
Hmm.
But and I didn't like Taya Leone in that movie at all, or William H
Oh
Macy.
yeah, she's very stiff in that.
She's huge, yeah, she's very stiff.
Uh,
But this was worse. But Dominion was worse for
I
me.
agree.
But I still gave it a decent score. But as far as the Jurassic Park franchise or Jurassic World franchise, it's definitely a mess.
Yeah.
Um, I, I'm a little sorry I bought it on 4K. I'll be honest. The 4K transfer is not. It wasn't good enough for me to go.
Oh
Okay, I
really?
kind of enjoyed that more. Yeah, the 4K transfer didn't save it. Um, the visuals were still good. The picture quality was great, but I'm sorry. You give me a 2022 movie that just came out. You put it on 4K and you don't do Dolby Atmos. I don't understand.
You're kidding.
No,
There's
it,
no Dolby Atmos on that?
no, it was DTSX was the logo.
Oh wow.
And I was just like, I don't understand. I just took it for granted that it was going to be Atmos.
Yeah. You would just assume.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
assumed that with the new Scream too, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
I was
I
really
wonder if we can get
disappointed
another
with that.
release of it
Yeah,
with Dolby Atmos.
I hope so, because um, I mean, shoot, the first Jurassic World that I bought in 4K, that's got Atmos, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, so I
I wonder if it's a
I
money issue.
I don't know.
The
Or maybe
cost.
it was like it didn't do very well in the theater, so maybe they weren't going to pay the money to put Atmos out on all the releases. But that would have been a lot better with Atmos.
Yeah.
I probably would have been happy to get the 4K. Um,
Yeah.
but I was like, okay, I got the first Jurassic Park, I got the first Jurassic World, so I'll get the last one, the one that mixes both and
Yeah.
and on 4K. And yeah, I wasn't disappointed with the transfer, but the transfer doesn't help the movie at all.
Right.
That was my thing. But all right, we're at 3 hours. Let's get out of here.
Thanks, guys. As always, be kind to one another and have a great week.
Absolutely. Take care, everybody. We'll see you all next
See
week.
you, man.